All good. Thank you, Joanna. Let's do this. Good to see you guys. Anything new happen this week? Everything good? Everybody happy? Everybody feel like all their dreams came true? I apologize. I'm gonna have to put on lip balm and drink a lot. I spent a couple days uh, doing a lot of thinking and a lot of puffery and did not drink enough water, so I'm a little dehydrated. Just for asking, you're muted. Thanks. Look, let's all take it out on me today. Let's take out all of our feelings on me today. Oh, we are ready. Did I hear Charlie Kirk? No, I didn't hear Charlie Kirk. What did old Charlie Kirk have to say? I bet it was really, really smart. Let's see. I gotta adjust a couple graphics here just a little bit. Oops. Just move a couple things over so they're in the screen. Irfan, welcome. I don't know who this is. There we go. What's up, Irfan? Oh, we're doing battle. I don't do battles.
Welcome to
How do I end that? I don't even know how to end him. How do you end it? Jen, help me! Jen, I don't know how to get rid of this. Is it Oh, I did co-host. There we go. Son of a bitch. How do I get rid of him? Go away. Go away. I have to block. So I like click on their name and block them. That's a crazy. All right, let's see if that worked. I still see him. I don't know how to get rid of it. I don't know what to do. No, this is a co-host. I allowed him to co-host. I may have to just start over. I don't know. I accidentally allowed him to co-host. Thought he was a guest. Let's see.
welcome.
Oh, we're still going. I don't know how to get rid of him. I did block him. There's not an option. There's no option. What is going on? What is going on? Look, I'm just
En la sombra aquí la ven. Sí, gente, vamos a lavar ropa, vengan. Vamos a lavar trastes.
Oh, sí se puede, con una neta.
Sí, ¿ves?
Con neta quiere.
Mi madre es tan bella, miren, ve, me ha puesto una agua, ve, miren, agua para lavar los trastes. Mire, ahí está, ve. Allá están los trastes. Allá está la señorita, ¿ves? Miren, están cansada de lavar trastes, dice. ¿Y vos? Ayúdame aquí. Ven y echarlo aquí.
Echarle cosas.
Y ese hombronazo de Dios. Voy a ponerlo ahí. Aquí.
Voy a tirar uno. Ah, mira el bloque con la sombrilla aquí.
Ay. Ay, sorry for you, porque ahora voy a traer un poco de agua. Ah, en esa paila, echarle agua aquí.
It's shitty. Got it plugged in. So is it choppy or are we okay? Send you a VCR clock. Uh, all right, there we go. Good morning, guys. Good morning. I hope everybody's figuring out a way to move on, move past it. If we're being honest, we lost, and we have two options. We have three options really. We can just quit and walk away. We can do what some people did in the last election and pretend it was stolen and that it was cheated, or we can move on and be real honest about what happened. And fortunately for us, we do have data. Uh, I think that a lot of the things that we're going to hear and say in the next couple of weeks are going to be uncomfortable for some people, only because what we have to come to grips with is that the things in America that people think about the most are not equality, are not certainly not like equal rights. And that's not to say that nobody in America cares, but there are a lot of people in America who care a little bit more or a lot bit more about their pocketbook than they might care about civil liberties. We'll put it that way, and we have to address that, and we have to be honest with it. I think one of the things that's been tricky the last couple of days is understanding our role, understanding what's effective, what's not, and trying to recalibrate. Now, I look back on the last whatever year and a half, 2 years of my time. I don't know how long I've been on TikTok. I think it's about that, maybe about 2 years, maybe a year and a half or so. But I look back on that amount of time, and I just tried to be really reflective about what did I do on TikTok. And I think that what I did most on TikTok is build a brand, and that's been great. It's been cool. But what I didn't do is I didn't do what I said I was doing, which is talking about politics. Like that was my initial goal: talk politics, influence politics. I don't know if I did that. Um, I think that we've built some a cool uh, community, and I've made a lot of friends that I hope are lifelong friends. But did I accomplish the goal of influencing elections? Probably not. Probably not. Right? Not enough. Not enough. And look, for those of you who say like I'm being hard on myself or that I did enough, I want you to know that this isn't me being hard on myself. This is me being. This is how I function when things happen in my life, when things don't go well in my life, I've learned. When I was in a cult, I learned to pray, right? And ultimately, like nothing really ever got better. But I learned as I came out, like I needed to cope with things a little bit differently. So now when things don't go right in my life, I'm pretty good at stepping back and saying, like, where did I go wrong? And we have to be able to do that without beating ourselves up and without beating each other up. We've got to be able to say, where did I go wrong in the last 2 years? Now, for some people on this app, for some people watching, for some people who create, that's not their goal, right? Their goal isn't to influence politics. Their goal might to be like partisan helpers, or they might be there to help people feel reassured, or they might just be there like to talk shit on Trump, which a lot of us were. And just looking at the data, it wasn't an effective strategy. Sorry, let me grab a drink. Yeah, listen, you guys, I don't need I promise I do not feel bad about myself at all. I'm just looking. I don't regret anything that I did. I just look at it and say what worked, what didn't work, what could be more effective, and that's it. Just what worked, what didn't work, what could be more effective. I also think that one thing that's important that all of you are going to hate is that there are a lot of people who are on the other side of the aisle who want like their pound of flesh out of me. And I think that that's fair. I wouldn't have done it. Had we won, I wouldn't be going around live to live asking for a pound of flesh, mocking other people. Um, but that's fine. Like that's part of it with this. Part of it is owning. If you run every time you lose, if you quit, if you cower when you lose influence. And ultimately, that's the goal for me. My goal is to have influence. My goal is to change a narrative. My goal is to get people to the polls to vote in a way that I think is the right direction for this country. And because of that, I think that if we can look back at some of the rhetoric, uh, there were times when I allowed my emotion and we allowed our emotion to get the best of us and derailed conversations. There are other times when I absolutely have no problem with some of the things I've said to people in heated moments. I think some of those are completely justifiable. I think our feelings about certain people are completely justifiable. And we've got to go back through now. We have to kind of start over and we have to separate uh, the people from each other and start viewing people as individuals. Because if we do that, at least if I do that, and I have the conversation that way, uh, we'll get a good idea of what the messaging is. Now, like there's a range of Republicans that we've talked to. You have the range of the people who literally are just there to troll. They just show up every day, they troll, no matter what. Their minds weren't going to be changed. Then you have the Republicans who are willing to find a middle ground, but for whatever reason, so many of those people, so many of those Republicans who could see what we were talking about, agreed with what we were talking about, voted for Donald Trump. And that's what I'm looking through in the data. Like what moved them? Because for most people are not honest with themselves. So expecting people to be honest with you, a stranger, or even somebody they've talked to, or just people on the internet in front of a crowd of people, I don't think it works. I don't think that we can expect the people that we debate here to be honest about what really drives them. We can't. They won't be honest about what motivates them because oftentimes they don't know themselves, and they would hate to admit that to themselves. Uh, anyways, if we look at the numbers, if you look at exit polling data, we can extrapolate some things. We can extrapolate how certain groups of people think, and then if you apply the way that people vote to like a group dynamic, and then you see like what their issues were in exit polls, it's pretty obvious what happened in this election. Um, what didn't happen is that we just underperformed. I saw that I've seen that a lot. I've seen a lot of people just based on the numbers like, "Oh, we lost the popular vote, we underperformed." I will say this, I don't know if we did lose the popular vote. I think the popular vote's going to be very close. We still don't have a total popular vote, and there's like last I saw, like between 4 and 5 million votes left to be counted in California. And there's still a lot of votes to be counted in Arizona. We'll see. But what did happen is Trump gained voters. It's uncomfortable. It's really, really uncomfortable. But he did. He got all the votes aren't counted yet, and he has more votes, right? So I think the goal for us needs to be to recalibrate and spend our time discussing topics where we can affect moderate voters. Um, let me show you something. Let's see. I want you to see something kind of interesting. A friend of mine has been helping me a ton. Can I move? How do I do this? I wonder. All right. I don't really want to show this whole page. Let me try. I'll do this actually. Sorry, guys. All right. Sorry about this chart. I'll try and make it as big as I possibly can. You see that okay? All right. This is a chart from 2020 to 2024. The voting numbers weren't up for us. The voting numbers were up for them. Um, all right. So this is on the left here. This is 2020. On the right is 2024, and this is the shift. So you can see up here at the top. Uh, this is Democrats who left the party, registered as nonpartisan. Republicans who left the party, registered up here as nonpartisan. But what happened with Democrats is that we actually had a lot of Democrats leave the party and join. What is that? The total number 67,000 who actually joined the Republican Party. The Republicans who we got to switch, they still registered as nonpartisan or independent. And you could, whatever the reasoning might be, like for some of them, they may feel like it's their endorsement won't go as far if they say that they're independent. But there's a good amount of people who saw what was happening in the Republican Party and saw what was happening in our party and said, I'm not joining that party for whatever reason. And that's the stuff that we need to figure out. And I think that all boils just simply down to messaging. It boils down to, did we message the right things to the voters? Not I think like it's hard because we want to say, for most of us, we say what's most important. And then we center our messaging around that. But that's what's most important to us. We are political people. We are political watchers. We're political fans. We're political voters. And so when you look at the charts and you see there was obviously some messaging there from Republicans that worked. I didn't sizzle for me. I didn't get fired because DNC wasn't paying me. Sorry. So that being said, I'm going to be a little open to hearing from people that I wouldn't normally want to hear from. And we're going to start the practice now. If people want to have real discussions, we'll have real discussions. And I'm going to do my best not to make those discussions be inflammatory. And if people don't want to have real discussions, there are other lives that they can go to scream at each other. So I'm gonna do my best. But that's where we're at. And so we're gonna test this off first with Shuck It. What's up, dude?
What's going on, man?
Hey,
So, what do you think? What do you think the reason is that you guys lost? I didn't hear your reason. What you thought?
it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell so far. What I think is that Donald Trump's messaging on the economy was better. I think that's not better in my opinion, but better according to the opinion of Americans.
Okay.
That seemed to be like the main driving force. I think that the Republicans did a good job misframing who we were as far as like wokeism, but they won that battle. They won the battle. They were able to paint lefties as people who were like advocating for children to get gender reassignment surgeries. They won that messaging. It was dishonest, but it worked.
For sure. And I said this before. I think there's two reasons they lost, and this is just my opinion. You may not agree. One, I think you had a terrible candidate. Just because when she ran the first time, she got 0 votes. She had an approval rating at one point of 28% as VP. I just don't think she was a good candidate. It had nothing to do with her being a woman or being black. There's a black woman right now I would vote for tomorrow if she would run, and that's Winston Sears. I would vote for her
over Trump.
Yeah, Winston Sears. Yeah, she's a great story. Do you know who she is?
No.
She's a black woman who's an immigrant, came to the United States, joined the Marine Corps, and she is now the first ever black first lieutenant of the state of Virginia. Her story is just amazing.
What's her name?
Winsome, Winsome, Sears, Sears. Her story is just amazing. Here's a strong black woman that you can get behind. Now, she is conservative, but her story's great. She came from another country. She immigrated here. She became a citizen. She served in the Marine Corps. I mean, how can you not love? Talk about American.
Well, I think that's like kind of is one of the differences, the main difference between at least how I think and how the people that went from like MAGA's really interested in stories that confirm the stuff that they like could you tell me anything about her policies, or is it mostly you just like the story? By the I guess
Well,
if she's not from
she's
here, she can't be
conservative.
citizen.
I have read about some of her like beliefs before. I don't know them off the top of my head, but I read her story about a year ago, and I was just impressed with it because, again, of all states, Virginia. I mean, she's the first ever black first lieutenant governor or lieutenant of the state of Virginia, which is just amazing. And the fact that she did it coming from another country, became a citizen, served in our military. I mean, it's just a good story. Now, I don't know how she's doing in her position. I mean, I have no clue. I don't live in Virginia, so I
Well,
don't know if she's doing.
I think that's kind of the point, though, right? Like you have no idea if she's good. You just like her story.
Well, again, we can wait and see. I mean, let's see what
No.
happens.
Just stay. No. Just stay with me here, dude. Like I'm trying to offer an olive branch here, but I'm also trying to understand MAGA, and I think that starts with people being honest about what they're saying. That is what you're saying. You like her story, but you actually don't know what she did, right?
Well, I like some of her conservative beliefs. She does have some conservative beliefs. Again, I read it a year ago, so I don't know them off the top of my head. But everything I read about her was very positive. And that's I think one of the things is.
But again, you don't know. Like that's what I'm trying to point out here is that we've got to do a better job. Just as Americans, I don't think it's a smart way forward to say I like this person's story. I'm voting for them. That's gotten us in trouble before. Sometimes people have a great story and they're not great people. I was thinking of like I don't know if you remember there was this guy that saved a woman. I think he hit she was being attacked and he hit somebody over the head with like a hammer. I forget what they called him. He was huge on YouTube, like this hippie dude. Right? And everybody's like, wow, what a great guy. But there were signs right at the beginning like, okay, this story's cool, but some of this is weird. And then he wound up like unaliving somebody and being in prison. We just watched his demise unfold on social media. But overnight, he was a sensation because of his story. And everybody else just like overlooked the other stuff. And I think that's that's how I feel with Trump is that he was really good at painting a story. And he was so good that people ignored who he was. And we just have to address that. Like, are we a country now where a story is more important? Yeah, we are. Right now, we're a country where a story is more important.
One of your viewers just put in there and asked me a question. So what was wrong with
Kamala? Do me a favor, Shuckett. I'm going to try something new that I used to do. I'm just going to ask the guests not read the comments so that we can have a discussion. Yeah.
Okay. But going back to the two reasons. One, I think Kamala was a bad candidate. That's the one. And I think the second reason is, and I'll never change my mind. I just think the Democrats have gone way too far left. They need to come back to the middle a little bit. They got too extreme. And it's funny, I called Felice on election day, and I was busting her butt a little bit. But she goes, what do you think's going to happen today in PA where you're at? I said, I got 3 messages from friends of mine in York County, Lancaster County, Berks County, and another county. They said the lines are 3 times as long as they were in 20, so that's not good news for you. She laughed at me, but I'm like, I'm serious. Like, he's going to win PA. I knew that morning, like, just based on what I was hearing from people in other counties, it was insane.
Well, you didn't know.
No,
I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be a dick here, but you didn't know.
I did know.
I did a trillion times more research than you did. There was no data that would have told you that you were going to win. That's a gut instinct, right?
No, here's another reason. The poll workers down in Philadelphia.
No, these are all gut instincts. This isn't data. That's what I'm saying.
No, this is data. Like the Republican Party sent poll watchers into Philadelphia this time. They had poll watchers show up. They were turned away initially on election day. And Republicans are smart. They had attorneys on standby. Attorneys contacted officials and they said, go ahead and turn them away. Watch what happens. And they ended up letting them.
How many people got turned away?
I don't know the number, but they ended up letting them there then. I don't know.
Do you know if any got turned away?
Yeah.
What'd they get turned away for?
Because they didn't want them watching. They didn't want these poll watchers. They didn't want them there watching the poll workers.
Wait, no. You said. Wait, so what did the poll workers do? Did they catch anything?
No, they just didn't want to be watched by poll watchers.
You're not making a lot of sense to me right now. I don't know what you're saying. What I'm asking is, there were poll watchers that were sent down there. You said it was a smart move. That's how you knew they were going to win. Are you saying that there were people that that were going to vote illegally, but they didn't because Republicans sent people down there?
Well, you can come to that conclusion because look what happened in the last election. I mean, he
What
was up
happened
what
last
500.
election?
He was up presidential election 2020. I was up until 2:30 that night. I went to bed. He was up a couple 100,000 PA.
Yeah,
Next morning,
he was up like he was up like a couple, like almost a million, and then as the night went on, that number came down. Like the exact same thing happened.
no,
He
you didn't have.
he got way up early, and then his drops came in the middle of the night. And they could, by the way, I do want to point this out. The exact same thing happened in Pennsylvania that happened last time that you guys told us was fraud. And you can go look at it from this election, and you can see that because I was doing it in real time. I was watching these refresh in real time, waiting, and you would see Pennsylvania, Trump up 800,000, and then it was Trump was up 450,000, and his Kamala all of a sudden picked up a bunch of votes, and Trump picked up none. And you'd be like, oh, it's tightening. And then Trump would pick up. It's because Pennsylvania puts those votes in like by candidate in mass. Like those drops come candidate by candidate, and they're mass numbers. So the exact same thing happened in Pennsylvania that happened last time.
I don't think I think you're right. I don't think you had as many voters turn out that you expected to turn out
That's true.
in the Philadelphia area. But I got to ask you again: do you think the party went too far left? I mean, I think
No.
they went too far left. You don't.
I don't think that we did, but I don't think we did a good job with the messaging. Because like when you say left, you mean what do you mean by like too far left?
Like just basic stuff. Like I know we argued about this before. Americans don't want millions of people streaming into the country illegally. They don't want
Okay,
men.
so let's
using
stop there. So let's stop there. And this is where I say like we didn't get the messaging right. There was nothing. There wasn't a single Democrat in any race, not one, who supported open borders. Not one. There wasn't a single Democrat in any race that advocated loosening restrictions on the border or defunding Border Patrol. That's why I said it was messaging, because you guys did a good job of forcing, like saying that was our opinion and that messaging worked, and we didn't counter it because it's just not true. The truth is, day one in office, Joe Biden put the very first thing he did was he tried to fix immigration, because immigration, this problem started in 2019. Everybody was aware of it, that Joe Biden and Donald Trump were campaigning on how do we fix immigration. Remember, that's what Trump was running on. How do we fix immigration? There's a problem here. That had already started, and you guys just did a good job of putting that all on Joe Biden, and we didn't do a good enough job fighting it back. But the reality is, this was happening whether Trump was president or Joe Biden was president. It was going to happen this way.
Well, whether the Democrats support open borders or don't support, the people still came in at a large amount, and that hurt. I mean, I think
Right.
again.
But that's messaging, right? Because if you can't blame, that's definitely not the Democrats' fault. In fact, if you're going to assign blame, if you want to take direct action, if you want to take action and you directly link it to people showing up at our border, like that was mostly Trump, to be honest. There was I've never seen, and somebody could show me something different, but I've never seen any of the data that you guys talk about, like when you talk about getting rid of the executive orders or remain in Mexico. Like none of them were the cause of people showing up at our border. None.
Right, but you got to understand, even one case can make a big difference in an election, like the Lincoln Riley case.
No, I know. I agree with you. You
difference.
guys out-messaged us. I'm hoping that like going forward, I understand leading up to the election that nobody wants to be honest, and nobody was honest. And I will say, like, whatever you want to say about your party, like, and winning, I'm happy for you. Well, I'm not, but like I could understand. I'd be happy. You lied to win, and so we're gonna accept that. Like everybody has to accept that. But I'm just like as an olive branch to say, okay, you did it. You got Trump back. You feel vindicated. Can we govern now? Can we do what's best for America now? Like, will you guys stand up to Donald Trump when he does things that you promised he wouldn't do? Maybe you're right. Maybe he won't do those things. But if he starts rounding up immigrants, which you guys told us wasn't going to happen, will you stand up? If he starts implementing Project 2025, which we were told wouldn't happen, will you stand up with us? If he says he'll sign a national abortion ban, which you promised he wouldn't, and you said he wouldn't do that, will you stand up with us? That's all we're really asking.
I have bashed Trump so many times in the past of things he has said, things he has done. I have. I mean, it's a fact. I've done it so many times. He says stupid shit. He doesn't know when to shut his mouth. He does stuff that
I don't
he's got
care.
to listen.
So yeah, sorry to cut you off. I don't care about Donald Trump. I could give a fuck about Donald Trump. One of the things that I did wrong, looking back, is I spent too much time at going after Trump because nobody really fucking cared. And
I
we
agree-
should
I
have, and
agree
we
with
should
you
have
there.
seen. Even though I think I'm right, and I think my arguments are better, which I think you would. I think now going back, Shuckett, you would agree that even conservatives didn't have better arguments than we did. When it came to Trump, we had all the evidence in the
when it
world
came
that
to
Trump was
Trump?
a criminal, and you guys wouldn't believe it. And there was no evidence that Joe Biden was a criminal, and you guys believed it. Now Joe Biden's going to leave office. No criminal charges will ever be pressed against him. There was no criminal action as president. He wasn't
Well,
impeached.
I don't agree.
And you guys
I
will
don't agree
pretend,
with you
and you'll
there.
pretend that didn't happen. But
I don't
I'm just
agree
talking,
with you there.
No. I'm talking about evidence, not whether or not you agree. Just evidence-wise. We have way more evidence that Donald Trump is a criminal than you have of Joe Biden.
No,
In fact,
I
you don't
won't-
have any.
I don't agree with you there, but that's a whole nother topic. But listen,
Well, then
I do.
Wait, let me ask them. Then why didn't you guys impeach him? You had control of the House. Why wasn't he impeached?
I'm talking
you had
about
evidence.
I'm talking about his classified doc case. It's just
There was-
drives me crazy
There
about
was
that
no
case.
classified documents case against him. You guys didn't bring one.
No, the special counsel decided not to, but the special counsel did say he willfully retained documents that he shouldn't have.
Yeah,
So-
but that's not a. But yeah, but that's not a
that
crime
is-
that you impeached somebody
it
for.
But it is a crime. He should have
Well,
been
then why
charged.
didn't you guys impeach him?
But why was he charged by the DOJ?
Because the president can't be charged while they're president. The Congress is the only one. It's the reason Donald Trump didn't get charged with crimes while he was president, is because they have ruled that Congress is the one that holds the president responsible. So that there's like, if you wanted Joe Biden held responsible, your Congress, Republican-led Congress, could have done it, and they didn't.
Okay. Well, one thing
But
you
why
said
not?
I do
But
agree.
why not, though?
I do agree with you 100% on one thing.
Wait, hold on,
You
stay
guys-
here, because this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to try and stay off Trump, but I just want to say, like, we've got to get to a point where conservatives and liberals can say, here's the facts. And that's what, for the last 2 years, we haven't been able to do. We haven't been able to sit down together and say, here are facts.
And that's another instance of how I hate the Republican Party. They should have impeached
Be
him.
the change then. Let's talk
Because-
about facts. Be different.
They should, right, but they should have charged him. They should have impeached him. They absolutely just like before.
But for what?
They-
For what, though? What would they have impeached him for?
For what the special counsel said, he willfully retained classified docs, which was a crime, but he wasn't charged. And he said he can't be charged because he was too elderly, which
Okay,
is total
so-
bullshit.
So if that's true, then of course you're going to argue that they should charge Trump for willful retention, right?
I have no problem with Trump being charged with it.
He wasn't
but it
charged
goes-
with that.
But listen,
Wait, but he wasn't.
well,
Wait, but he wasn't.
hold
No,
on.
stay with me. He wasn't
He's a-
charged with that.
He was a president, though, so there's a little difference between a president
wasn't charged
and a
with
senator.
that.
There's a difference between a president and a senator taking classified docs.
Well, these
And
were from
willfully
when he
re-
was vice president. He was part of the executive branch.
No, he took them when he was a senator. Some of the documents he took as a senator.
Some, but yeah, but the
well.
ones that were most important. But also, literally, but the question is, why wasn't Trump charged with that? Why aren't you advocating that Trump be charged with it?
Listen, again, if he did it and they have evidence that he willfully retained it and he can be charged. Now, again, I don't know what the Presidential Act says as far as presidents,
Well,
whether they can.
what does willful mean?
Well, again, he's covered
No,
under
what
the
does it
Presidential
mean?
Records
What does
Act.
willful mean? Let's just talk about it. What does it mean?
Well, you can't talk about it unless you know what the Presidential Records Act says.
I do know what the Presidential Records Act says, and Donald Trump's wrong about that, and we can get to that in a second. But I
Right,
want to know
but-
what is willful? Because no, we just have to define the terms. Willful means that you know you have them and you keep them anyways, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Are you saying that once Trump left office, and the documents were requested by NARA, are you saying that he somehow the Presidential Records Act gave him the right to ignore NARA?
I'm not saying it does. I don't know enough about the Presidential Records Act to know
Okay,
whether
I
it
do.
does.
So let me
well,
tell
some
you.
people, but some people disagree with you. Say you're wrong. That he can.
I don't
retain
think
it.
anybody disagrees with me on these facts.
I would.
Do you want to, I can read the Presidential Records Act to you. I think you'll be surprised at how clear it is.
There are many experts I've seen on TV say that he can retain those records as president under the
No.
Presidential Records Act.
No.
Okay, well, again, we disagree. But here's
But
another
wait,
thing:
but
Republican.
then how do we find the middle ground? This is the thing, Shuck It. Like I
But
don't
I'm
want to
agreeing with
spend
you.
I don't want to spend the next 4 years arguing, and whenever we get stuck on facts, like we move on. We've got to be able to agree on what's real and what's not real. And right now, right when we're pulling up like what's real, you want to shift topics.
I'm not shifting. I agree
I'm
with
just
you.
saying,
If they
like,
tr-
I'm just saying, I'm interested
they-
in these conversations. If you want to keep coming on and having conversations, we've got to be able to do this. If
If they
not, like,
charge
I'm just
him,
gonna,
I'm okay
I'm
with
only
it.
gonna talk to people who want to have these types of discussions.
Yeah, but RTP, you're missing the point I'm trying to get across here.
No,
if they charge,
we're not at the point yet. The point that you're getting across doesn't really matter, just like mine doesn't, unless we can agree on facts.
it does matter.
Well, can we agree on facts first?
We already did. I agree. If they charge him, he should be charged. He should be charged. I agree with you.
But why shouldn't Trump be charged?
No, I'm talking about Trump. I'm saying if a prosecutor comes out and says he should be charged for willfully retaining him, and they charge him, okay, I'm not going to argue with you.
So would you support right now the Department of Justice charging Donald Trump with a crime of willful retention
If they
right now?
find evidence and they can prove it in a court of law, and they have enough to indict him, I have no problem with it.
Well, we
but again,
already had enough to indict that he disobeyed lawful orders to
Yeah, but
return those
RTP,
documents.
we had enough to indict Hillary and Biden, and neither was done by the
you
DOJ
didn't.
because
you
yes, we
didn't.
did.
You didn't.
We did.
Then why wasn't there an indictment?
Because the DOJ is corrupt. That's the problem I
Yeah,
have with our criminal justice
No,
system.
see, this is the problem I have with this discussion, Shuck It. Every time something's inconvenient for you, you get to fall back on, oh, the DOJ is corrupt.
No, the facts show it is.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
What facts?
Okay. Take Trump's classified doc case in Florida. He was charged under the Espionage Act, correct?
I don't remember the
Yes.
exact. A lot of different
He
charges.
was. He was investigated under and charged under the Espionage Act, and that's what he was charged under.
Why do I think that's wrong? Hold on, let me check.
It's not wrong.
Well, just let me look at the charge. Jesus, dude. It's like you get upset every time I want to fact check.
Dude,
something.
I'm not upset. I'm trying to give you factual information
Yeah,
so
but,
you understand.
but you understand I don't trust you, right?
Well, I don't trust you much either.
Well,
so
then
we're on the
good. So
same
let's
page.
get to the facts. That's good. That's how we do this.
He was charged under the Espionage Act by Jack Smith in Florida.
Okay. Maybe. I don't remember if that's true or not. Why do I think that sounds
look
wrong?
it up. I think the section was for
Oh no, that was one of the charges. Yeah, so that's some of the charge. Yeah. Okay.
under the Espionage Act, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah, they said it was too vague to be applied to his case. That was their argument. Which
Okay,
got dismissed, which he has appealed, and judges have ruled that he absolutely can be charged under the Espionage Act.
Right. Okay. And they did the correct process. And the process was when they completed their investigation, they convened a grand jury. That's what they're supposed to do. That
Right.
is what they all do. So go back to Hillary. Hillary was investigated under the Espionage Act. James Comey went on national TV.
For
and gave his-
emails?
Yeah.
Okay.
James Comey went on TV and gave his whole spiel. And we all were sitting there watching. I remember to this day, I was like, oh, she's done. She violated this, this, and this. And then he says, we're not charging her because it's carelessness. So then the House.
Was there precedent? Was there precedent there?
Hold on. So what they did
No. Was there precedent there?
Yeah, there was.
What was the precedent? Who was the
US
last person that the FBI investigated for basically sharing classified documents? Who was the person
classified
before that?
U.S. sailor Christian Saucier. He was charged with it, did a year in jail.
David Petraeus. David Petraeus was the answer.
So let me just finish what I was saying.
I'm not,
So
no, hold on. Wait, no. David
I'm
Petraeus.
giving you facts of what happened.
I am too.
Give
but
me
I'm
30 seconds to just finish.
Shuck it. I've given you tons of time. We're having a conversation, dude. This is how it's
We're
gonna
not
go.
having a conversation
If
because
you
you're not
don't,
letting me
if you
finish.
don't like how this is going, that's fine. You can bounce, dude. But I'm gonna interject because if we're just gonna be honest, David Petraeus actually had his emails and he gave them to somebody else. Gave classified documents to somebody else, and he got essentially a slap on the wrist. So Hillary Clinton's case, where she didn't give those. There's no evidence that those emails were seen by anybody else but her, and she broke a rule by storing them on a server. And they said, all right, this was extremely careless, but David Petraeus willfully handed over documents and he got a slap on the wrist. So we're not going to jail Hillary when precedent says that a worse crime got just a slap on the wrist.
Okay. Can I finish now?
Sure.
So when James Comey came out and everyone was angry she wasn't charged, he then was subpoenaed to testify in front of Congress. And he testified that she did, after lying, send and receive classified docs on an unsecured server.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what he testified to. Lisa Page, the FBI attorney in 2018, had to go under oath and testified to the House Judiciary Committee. And what she testified to is when that case was going on, the FBI wanted to charge her. And the DOJ jumped in and said, no, you're not charging her. And the FBI says, we have enough to charge her. And they said, you will change that language from gross negligence to carelessness. This is what she testified to under
Who cares?
oath.
Who cares?
So they knew she should have been.
Why would I care?
They knew she should have been charged.
Why would I care about that?
Because the FBI was going to charge her.
So is Lisa Page? So anything I bring up now, like Lisa Page is going to be your go-to expert?
Why did they convene a grand jury?
I don't think you want Lisa Page as your go-to expert.
They skipped the grand jury. Why did they skip the grand jury?
I don't think you want Lisa Page as your go-to expert.
Okay, here's my two-tier justice system.
I don't think you want right or wrong.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You do use her. Okay, so when I pull up texts of things that she talked about from the Mueller investigation and the things Trump was doing with Russia, then you're going to take her at her word when she talks about Trump colluding with Russia?
That's not going to be able to be brought in.
No, I'm talking about you and I, because now what you're saying is that like you have the DOJ, you have the DOJ up here, you have the DOJ up here, you have the FBI here, you have Lisa Page here, and you're saying because of her testimony, the DOJ was wrong. So you've elevated Lisa Page here. So now, for any other conversation, Lisa Page gets to be an expert over the DOJ, or is it only when she agrees with you?
What I'm saying is, you just admitted onto your guess that Jack Smith, they convened a grand jury, which was the criminal justice process, is what needs to be done. They didn't do that with Hillary. Why not?
Because they didn't feel like
that's what they're required to do.
Required? But where? Where are they required to do that?
When James Comey obtained the evidence and said under oath in front of Congress, yes, she did send and receive classified docs on unsecured server. That is a crime.
No, the DOJ makes charging decisions all the time. You think just because they have evidence, they're required to open a grand jury? They always
convene grand juries. Why did they convene a grand jury?
Because they weren't going forward with the prosecution. The grand jury is the step in between. It's a check by the judicial branch against the DOJ so that they they can't bring frivolous lawsuits. You're acting like it's their job to determine whether or not the DOJ brings charges. They can determine if the DOJ is allowed to bring charges, but if the DOJ says I'm not bringing charges, has nothing to do with a grand jury.
You just admitted it. The step between the FBI and the DOJ is the grand jury.
No. So that's not what I said. That's not what I said. Let's try it again. The judicial branch acts as a check against the DOJ, so the DOJ can't bring frivolous charges. The judicial branch does not direct the DOJ whether or not to bring charges. They bring charges to the grand jury. The grand jury decides, do they have evidence to take this to trial? If the DOJ doesn't feel like they have evidence to call a grand jury, they're not required to.
You just proved my point. So James Comey, the FBI's job is to investigate the crime and see if there's evidence to bring to the DOJ. He testified there was evidence.
Of what?
There was tons of evidence.
Of what?
Here you go. Watch the testimony of him. She sent and received classified docs on an unsecured server. She carried. All right, because you know I'm right.
No. It's not. It's not because I think you're right. It's because
it's a two-tier system.
It's because I think that no matter what you will do, no matter what, Shuckett, you will avoid any ounce of like I'm trying to do a balancing act here. I'm trying to say like I'm trying to call balls and strikes here, and I don't think you're capable of doing that because David Petraeus didn't get a grand jury. He didn't get indicted, and he did something much worse. And you want me to talk about Hillary because Trump got indicted, and Trump went through a grand jury. The check the judicial branch has against a weaponized DOJ, they passed that check multiple times. And you want me to compare the two like they're the same. If we're going to call balls and strikes, you and I have got to get to a place where you are honest ever. And you're not being honest right now.
Well,
Because if
you gave false information.
because your whole argument is that a grand jury didn't make this decision.
Okay, and you gave false information saying no one saw Hillary Clinton's documents. Did you know what his test? No, that's not true. Comey said our enemies most likely received all that classified doc.
No,
He
no,
testified
didn't.
to it.
No,
Yes, he
didn't.
did.
No, he
He
didn't.
said that our enemies most likely intercepted her transmissions. Absolutely, he said. He
Based on
testified to
what,
that.
I don't think he said that, but based on what evidence?
He absolutely
But
did say
based
that.
on what evidence?
Because it was all sent on an unsecured server. They know our enemies intercepted all those
They
transmissions.
don't. Then why didn't they find any of those emails? Trump begged for those emails. Russia, if you're out
why
there,
did they find them?
me
Because she
those
deleted
emails.
30,000 of them,
Why
which
didn't
he
we
also
find them?
testified to.
Why didn't we find them?
He also testified she deleted 30,000 emails.
Listen, I don't want to
You
talk
can't
to you.
go against his
I
testimony.
do not want to talk to you if every time I ask you a question, you ask a question in return, okay? I will stop talking to you forever. This is your chance. If you want to keep coming on and having these conversations, prove to me that you're capable of that. Because every time I ask you a question, you just move the goalposts. We'll get nowhere.
I didn't move the goalpost. I'm giving you factual
did.
evidence. That's what he
You
testified
can move
to.
the goalposts with factual evidence.
No, I'm not moving. I'm talking about the same subject. He testified.
That's enough. I'm good there. All right, let's get back to the polling. Let me move this back over here. That's how it's going to go, guys. We're going to have people up here that want to debate. And early on, I'm going to try and have a little bit more leeway with people who historically we haven't had good conversations with. And if they show themselves not capable of having a good conversation, we won't bring them up anymore. That's the goal from now on. So happy to take any Republicans today. Did I just move that over there? I didn't want that one. And let's see. I see Wyan Renters. Sure, there we go. What's up, Wyan?
Hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't. I'm not a Republican. I was just wondering if you're taking anybody that did not vote for Trump.
Well, we're just kind of going over polling stuff. Not really. I mean, did you have something?
Specifically, Mr. Rational Debater. Was just wondering how you feel about him and what he's been saying about Harry and Dean.
I don't know what he said about Harry and Dean, to be honest. I got a bunch of people messaged me the night that he was going on lives and said, "Hey, come get your boy." But I didn't see those messages till the next morning. I haven't talked. I talked to him this morning, and after I saw his video that he was leaving, and I just was like, "Dude, protect your mental health." I mean, it's pretty clear that Jeff didn't handle that very well. I think Jeff was real confident in winning, and he probably had an emotional response and blamed people. But frankly, like, he's not wrong. Like, Harry, Dean, Parker, and then on a much lower level, someone like me, like, we did lose. We didn't win. We spent, I mean, we had more, like, our lives were filled with more people, and we lost the election. So if he was saying that it's our fault, probably not. If he's saying that we didn't, that we weren't effective, that's probably fair.
He was just saying that we don't need little boys running on TikTok anymore. We need men like him.
Oh, that's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid if he said that. Those guys are I mean, I don't know Harry or who's the other, Chris, at all. In my interactions with Dean and Parker, I respect them. I think that they have good intentions. I think they're really smart. And I think that they speak, I mean, obviously they have a massive audience. There's a younger audience that they speak to. And so, yeah, we need those people. We need younger people to speak to younger people. They don't want to hear it from me.
Alrighty, yeah, that's all I had a question about. That's it.
I did. That was it. Whatever. We'll just open it up. We can talk. Hungarian autocracy. I see it. I'm not ready to do like the hungry stuff, but I do want to do it next week. I do want to, but I want to take a little more time so I'm more prepared. I'd like to just have you on as a guest next week if that's okay with you. Um, Jen, will you DM? What's the username for Hungarian autocracy? Will you just DM her and say that I'll get to her after, get back with her after the live today? Do that. Guys, I'm not doing, I really don't want to do friendlies right now. It is Friendly Friday. Let me get through some data and then we'll do Friendly Friday. And then tonight, normally, today's Friday, right? It's Friday. Yeah, tonight's normally date night with Jeffrey. I'm not doing those anymore at all, whether Jeff comes back or not, but I am going to use those nights to do debates. So on those nights, we'll still have debates. I'm just going to host them myself. We'll talk about what data was used to predict Harris would win. Yeah, I think most of the stuff that we were seeing before the election was, I mean, you have to assume some things with pre-election data, but we saw independent voters registering at a higher rate. We saw early voting came in at a higher rate. We saw obviously like just the energy difference. I think Harris's energy within the base. One thing I will say is that we misread the energy. We were very happy with Harris, and anybody who says otherwise is probably not telling the truth. We were very happy with Harris, but she was handed a nearly impossible election to win. She was if you can bear this out with the voter data or the exit polls. It has very little of why people voted had to do with Harris being a bad candidate. Um, People cared most about the economy, and they believed that Donald Trump was going to be better for the economy. That's most of it. Now you can go into some data, and there certainly is at least some data that could lead you to believe that their misogyny is at play, misogynoir is at play. It would be really hard to extrapolate that data and say this is the reason. I don't think there is a reason in campaigns, but there were a lot of things working against VP Harris, including misogyny, including misogynoir, including racism, including the border, including the economy, including people who are afraid of woke. I mean, there were just a lot of things working against her for who came out to vote. That's what the data tells us, is that there were just a lot of people who came out and voted despite these things. I mean, abortion wasn't even that big of an issue. Like most of America agrees on abortion, but they didn't even. They were like, "Oh, we're not voting on that," because they did a good enough job convincing people that they had nothing to do with abortion. It was just states, and that they weren't going to touch it. And that all it took was Trump saying, "I'm not going to sign a national abortion ban," for people who were on the fence with him on abortion to be like, "All right, I'm off the fence." He promised he won't sign it. So do we trust him? I probably don't. I wouldn't trust him, but a lot of people did. 2 women lost to Trump and a corpse will beat a misogyny at its worst. Yeah, there's other reasons for that. Like, oh, sorry, Jen. All right, thank you. I see you now, Jen. I also need to read messages real quick. Make sure. Give you some business, says. Nothing. Oh, personalized. No. I like you, but I can't listen to this nonsensical bullshit anymore from people like Shuckit. Amplifying stupidity is part of why we lost. I don't see that in the data. I think you're wrong about that. But do your thing. Shuckit is disingenuous. He knows Winsome can't run. He might not know. He might not know that. I think you might be giving him a little more credit than he deserves. Sorry, this is loading so slow. Sal says, we're still going on our date nights though, right? That's right, Sal. Tonight. Date night tonight. Toby says, from now on, the only appropriate response to a man saying your body, my choice is sending them to bed with less teeth in their mouth than they woke up with. That is a fucked up thing to say. But look, I think that stuff is meant to it's meant to distract, it's meant to enrage, it's meant to trigger. I don't know. I saw it. It's Nick Fuentes. What do you expect? Sal says, I like it when you're hard on yourself. Thank you, Sal. Good. It's good to be back to being objectified. Bree says, good morning, Boo. Don't beat yourself up, but I want you to come beat it up. I also want my pound of flesh out of you. All right. Okay.
Oh, well.
Hey. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. I just brought up Unicorn. Wait 1 second. Go ahead.
I was just reminding everybody that we've got a gift goal. If you guys could, we want to be able to keep the show going. It's kind of the job.
We're hoping.
So if you guys could help us hit the gift goal, you can send a fun message to go along with it. Whatever you'd like to do, that would be awesome. If you guys would like an invite to the Discord, you can message any mod and they can get you an invite. And please go subscribe to us over on YouTube.
Thank you, Jen. Love the energy. All right. Thanks, Unicorn. You can unmute now.
Hi.
Hey.
So we've had our tiffs in the past.
We have?
We've talked a few times. Yeah,
Okay.
you interrupted me a lot and yelled at me. But
Sorry about that.
it's okay, just as long as we stay calm in this conversation. So Ash invited me to come up and talk to you
Who did?
about Ash.
Oh, Ash. Oh,
Ash,
cool. Yeah.
Okay, so she asked me to come up and kind of like, she said that you guys are hearing people out as to why people voted for Trump instead of Kamala. I've always been a Trump supporter, but I can tell you why people I know decided to vote for Trump instead of Kamala. I have a friend that...
Can I ask you a question? Just so we can get out. Is there a reason, now that the election's over and we're not doing this anymore, is there a reason you guys all say her name incorrectly?
I don't even realize that I'm saying it. How do you say it again?
Kamala.
Kamala. I'm sorry. I've heard so many people say
That's fair. No, I hear it. Yeah, if you're in Republican lives and they're mostly saying Kamala, I get it.
I think that people genuinely think that's how it's supposed to be said.
Fair enough.
Because I thought that's genuinely how it's supposed to be said.
Fair enough. Sorry. Keep going.
But I do. Okay, so I have a friend that's an extreme lefty. She lives in Georgia, and
When you say she's extreme lefty, like what are her lefty positions?
like, well, whenever I say extreme lefty, I don't mean exactly extreme lefty. She's pro-abortion for any reason. She doesn't really care. I'm not gonna say extreme. She's not extreme.
Okay.
She's mild Democrat. I really thought she was gonna vote for Kamala because she feels so strongly about being pro-choice.
Yeah.
But whenever I asked her who she's voting for, she told me that she's voting for Trump because she's not gonna give a shit about whether or not it's in the state's hands whenever she can't afford groceries.
Okay.
And then I do have a cousin. Now she is pretty extreme lefty. She believes in like the trans kids and she believes in abortion rights. She's hardcore socialist, whatever the case may be. Now, she ended up voting for Trump because of the P. Diddy shit that happened and how so many celebrities that are associated with him endorse Kamala Harris as hard as they do. She felt uncomfortable with that.
Did you ask her why, or I guess could you, like, why would that bother her, but it didn't bother her that Trump was Diddy's friend?
Well, Trump and Diddy hung out a few times, but they weren't besties. Okay, they weren't besties, right?
And at one of those times they hung out, Trump was accused of sexual assault.
Can I please finish what I was saying?
Ma'am, no. No. I'm sorry. Maybe you were missold what this is. I'm going to talk. I'm not just going to sit here and let people talk forever.
Okay, I was told that you wanted reasons as to why people voted for Trump instead of Kamala.
I'm asking follow-up questions.
Yeah, I'm telling you based off my cousin's stuff. I'm not telling you based off me.
And I'm asking you a follow-up question. You're
right. I can't give you any more information based off my cousin.
Hear me out here, Unicorn. I asked you if about your cousin, if why she would vote for Trump if he was in there, say I don't know. But you chose to argue it. So you chose to say, oh well, Trump wasn't really his friend. So it sounded like you were telling me what your cousin believed. But if you don't know, just say I don't know.
Oh,
But
yeah, no, I don't know what
you
she
can't
thinks
make an
about.
argument and then get mad at me
Okay,
for responding.
okay. I'm sorry, I naturally reacted. So, I would say that I do not know her reasoning behind why she did not look into Diddy and Trump, other than the fact that she did mention that she thinks that the Trump administration focuses more on human trafficking and wanting to save children, while we have the P. Diddy case where sex slaves were involved. And, all of these celebrities endorsing Kamala as hard as they are, that made her feel very uncomfortable. So,
Fair enough. I think that's fair. Can I ask you a question?
well,
Do you?
sure.
Yeah, for you.
I
and
have a
for-
few more examples, but
Great. Can I still ask you a question? Is that all right?
sure, go ahead.
All right. So Trump is definitely. I don't see Trump messaging. In fact, I can't think of a time that Trump really messaged his plan for human trafficking. That seems to be something that's done
Well-
mostly. Can I finish? Thank you. That seems to be. And Jen muted your mic just because you got a ton of background noise. Can you stop unwrapping that while I'm talking? Is that okay? Thank you. Trump didn't really message that a ton. It was mostly from surrogates. But do you know? Do you know if he took actions? Like, do you know about Operation Underground Railroad, who was like, they were basically like Trump's go-to guy when it came to sex trafficking, and it turns out he wasn't helping anybody, and he was also abusing women. Does that make you guys ever stop and think like maybe we're not that party?
So, what I can say to you is that with the statistics that we have, we do know that a lot of children
You're not
that
answering,
were
Mike. With all due
trafficked were
respect,
saved
you're not
under the
answering.
Trump
With all
administration.
due respect, you're not answering
I
my
am
question.
answering.
You're not
I
answering my
am
question.
answering
No,
your
I'll restate it. And this is why you get talked over. The question I asked you is, when the person that Donald Trump holds up as like as a leader.
I don't know anything about that person, so
Okay,
I
so
can't give any
just
more
say that
information.
then just say that. Just answer
The
the
only thing I
just-
can
please,
say is
excuse me,
that a
excuse me,
lot
I'm
of
not
children
done yet.
were saved.
I'm not
You
done
want
yet.
to? You
I'm
want
not
me
done
to
yet.
give?
Thank you. Appreciate it. This is why you get
Want me to
talked
give you
over.
answers
You're
that I
talking-
know, or
you're
do you want me
talking-
to-
I want you to be quiet while I'm speaking.
Right. You
and
just
I'll be
want me
quiet
to
when
say
you're
the things that you
speaking.
want me to say instead of the.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just saying, if I ask you a question and you don't know the answer, just say I don't know. See, you're here to debate.
Am I not allowed to give a follow-up?
No, because you're getting mad at me
Based off of statistics that we have,
Excuse me, ma'am.
where children have been
Excuse me. Excuse
children
me.
have been saved from sex trafficking, and
Excuse me.
you're not.
Excuse me.
Oh
Excuse
my-
me. Thank you. Stay muted until I'm done. Thank you. I ask you a question because I want to understand what the voters like yourself think. So if I ask you a question about Tim Ballard and you don't know, just say I don't know. But then you go into data, and then if I refute the data, you get mad at me for not listening. This is, if you're here
You didn't refute anything, though.
Excuse me. If you are here to debate, we can debate. But if
I am
you're
not
going
here to debate. I am here to tell you
please
the
just answer the questions
The infor-
that I'm asking. All right, you can go then.
This is
Have a
another
good day.
reason that people
Have a
voted
good
for
day.
Trump.
Appreciate it. Thank you. We are happy to have these discussions. I'm happy to have these discussions. Unicorn, no, pass, dude. Pass. If you're unwilling to have a conversation, watch this, Unicorn. Stick around and watch. Dusty will let people finish sentences. Right, Dusty?
I do. Try.
What's up, dude? How are you?
Hey. Yeah, first of all, I'm sorry it didn't go your guys' way. I'm
Thanks,
not
man.
here to gloat. But on the topic of her strategy and the Democrats' strategy, I think I do know the primary problem that you guys had.
What do you think it is?
I think that it's just connecting with everyday citizens. And I think that using celebrities to try to connect with people that are having financial struggles is a huge problem, because people see that and they're like, I'm not going to connect with billionaires and millionaires on problems with affording groceries. And not everyone can't afford everything right now. Go ahead.
I don't think that's correct. You guys elected a billionaire surrounded by billionaires.
I know, but he wasn't paying a bunch of celebrities to come on stage, and that wasn't his campaign.
I know.
His campaign was run on different things.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying that if you're saying that people didn't connect with celebrities because they don't think celebrities can understand what it's like being them, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that there are people who are turned off. I guess what I'm trying to get is there are MAGA voters who will never change their mind. And I don't think that those people are even capable with being honest with themselves. And I think that that's the same on our side. We have Democrats who certainly are not capable of being honest with themselves. But we do need to adjust some messaging because in truth, when I look at exit polls, and I think the hardest part about this election is that the stuff people cared about most, they chose the worst candidate for. And so it's clear that the messaging was far more important than the data.
Well, it's with anything where you're trying to get a public opinion, you can't just attack them with like data and things. You need to connect with them on a personal level.
I agree.
And for some reason, the Democratic Party just didn't quite get enough people to connect with them on this one.
Yeah. Well, I
And
think
I
people
think
connected on the economy. I think
they
that
did, because
it's
that's what
easy.
they feel.
Yeah, because
Because
it's
people
easy.
feel the pressure of that.
Right. It's easy for somebody to recognize that the economy is not going well. And Trump ran on that. And we tried to defend the economy, which we could have done, but in a completely different way. I think the messaging got screwed up there. I think that allowing Donald Trump to assign the blame for the economy on Joe Biden was a massive, massive misstep from the beginning, from the day one in the presidency. If you're going to do politics, you've got to. What we should have done is made it clear that when we were having issues, that a lot of those issues were caused by policies from Trump's administration or Obama's, but just saying that those were previous policies. We could have done a better job messaging the recovery, but instead, every time new jobs numbers came out, we all just celebrated and said, "Fuck you, Trump!" Like, look at this, it's going great, and the American people are still sitting there struggling, and they're like, "Okay, well, those numbers mean nothing to me." And again, I think that's where the messaging was wrong, because Donald Trump's plan is nonsense. It's silly, but his messaging was better, so it worked.
Yeah, and his plan isn't nonsense. He's trying to take a new approach, because here's the thing that you always say: capitalism right now is failing everyday Americans. You say that all the time.
Yeah.
And what the government was here for wasn't to tax citizens and give everybody 40% of everybody's paycheck to go to the government, or 30%. Like, that wasn't how our country was designed. I think Trump wants to experiment with new ways to get our country out of debt. And
None of that's new. That's been tried.
well, tariffs, right?
Yeah,
And
the
then
last time we tried
coming up with-
this, what followed was a Great Recession. The Great Recession.
it's a different era.
No.
And countries.
Wait,
No.
but why? Do you know why it led to the Great Recession? Have you looked into that at all?
Well, the Great Recession. Are you talking about 1929?
Yep.
Yeah. So there was numerous factors that led to that, though.
Yeah, of course. But I think a lot of
So-
those can be. I think a lot of those can be tied back to the decisions we made in the late 1700s or 1800s, early 1900s.
Okay. Yeah. Well, sure.
Like, just hear me out on this.
Okay,
Trump's plan is tariffs, right? And then a tax cut for billionaires.
No, wrong.
What?
not just for billionaires. See, that's part of the problem that made everyone so mad, grouped
Who else
together
is
and
getting
vote
tax cut? Who else is getting
group
tax
together
cuts?
and win the
Who else is
popular
who
vote
else is getting
and
tax cuts?
win the popular vote
Brother,
for
I'm
the
not
first
brother, I'm
in a
not
long
talking about
time.
messaging right now. Can you just stay on subject when
Yes,
we're
but just
if we're gonna move into a
I just
debate,
want
please
to
don't
cut for
Dusty,
billionaires.
please. Dusty,
I'm
please.
addressing your question.
You're not. You're
Yes,
not.
I'm going to
You're
right
going
now.
back to what Americans think. I want to have a discussion about
No.
what happened, bud.
I'm talking about just billionaires.
Okay,
He's not
so who's
cutting
getting taxes then? Who's getting tax cuts?
No tax on tips was one of his things. Kamala said the same thing, right?
Yeah.
That's one of his plans. So they both agreed there. So you agree that's a good plan?
No.
Okay.
They didn't agree. They actually didn't agree on it.
Okay.
But
Okay,
this is a
so-
good place where messaging helps
He
because
wants to cut
Trump,
corporate tax.
Excuse me. So Trump ran on no tax on tips, but what he did is he has a carve out that allows people who make a lot of money to take their
Through the stock
commissions
market. Yeah,
and
yeah,
call
yeah.
their commissions tips.
Okay.
And she didn't do that. But again,
Okay.
we lost the messaging battle there because
We wouldn't have
somehow
known if he
we
did that
allowed
or not.
we allowed the American people to think that his no tax on tips was a better plan. But it wasn't. It's not.
Oh, well, we don't know because how do you know? Because you said he didn't release the details of that plan. So
Well, just
how do you know?
just the idea behind it, right? If you're
Oh, but he
carving out
doesn't release the details of that, so you can't cut it out, 'cause you
no
don't know
tax
the
on
details.
tips, and that means that people's commissions aren't going to be taxed. We're going to bring
It's
in way less
fine.
tax revenue, way less.
Well, that's where the tariffs come in. So tariffs will, at first, they'll do two things. One, they will put financial pressure on Americans at first, and that's going to suck. But so will increasing the Americans' tax burden with corporate tax. So either way you do it, the Americans are going to pay the price. So you increase corporate
Who's
taxes.
mostly going to pay that price?
Every time you do a plan, the majority of Americans, not billionaires, will pay the price every time, even with your candidate, Jay. So
No, not with her
don't-
tax
yeah.
plan. No, the
So-
Americans would not have paid the price under her tax plan.
Oh my God, yeah, they would have.
How? It was
Increasing
paid for
corporate
by it was
taxes-
paid for by taxes from the rich.
No.
Yes, it was.
Increasing
What wasn't going to be
increase
what wasn't going to be
corporate
paid
tax
for?
Corporate tax rates.
What
would
wasn't going to
be-
be paid for, Dusty?
Okay, well, who pays corporate tax rates?
This wasn't about corporate tax rates, bud.
Well, no, but one of her plans, and she clearly
Okay, but that's not
stated-
what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about corporate tax breaks.
Okay, how is she going to tax the rich?
Capital gains for people over $100 million.
Even your guys' friend from
Speculation tax.
even your guys' friend from Shark Tank said that was unconstitutional, and he
Who?
wasn't worried about
Who's
it.
our friend from Shark Tank?
Mark Cuban.
And he said what was unconstitutional?
The tax on corporate gains or capital gains.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He said that. He's like, I'm not worried about that because it'll never happen.
That doesn't mean it's illegal. He doesn't think it'll pass.
Okay.
It certainly isn't illegal.
It's not constitutional, is what he said.
Yes, it is. And he didn't say that.
The biggest point that he was trying to make is, I'm not worried about that. I'm still going to support her because that'll never happen.
Yeah, but see, and this again, it's messy. But see, do you see how you took what he said and you created a new thing?
Well, I didn't.
You
mean
said
to
it
do
was
that.
illegal and
You created a
unconstitutional,
new
and he
thing
didn't
out
say
of my
any.
argument.
But just
When
hear
the
me out,
overall
Dusty.
point-
Dusty, hear me out. But I haven't talked over you once. I'm not
You
talking while
have.
you're talking. I'm not talking while you're talking in the middle of sentences. I don't keep trying to get it out. I'm just saying, do you recognize that you took what he said and you turned it into something else?
I think that when I watched the interview with him and his conversation with Vivek, I heard multiple things where he
It's
says that would
Vivek,
probably be huh?
It's Vivek, right?
Oh, really, Jay? Come on. He's a Republican, and I'm calling his name wrong. Like,
Yeah,
it's okay.
I'm consistent. Let's get. I'm sorry. You're mad that I fixed. You're mad that I'm just helping you say somebody's name right. My bad.
Well, no, I'm not mad. It's just annoying. But
Well, just get it right. It's annoying for everybody else to
don't
hear people
know
get
how to
names wrong
say
all the time.
he's not my friend. I don't hear it regularly from his own
Okay, well, I was
voice.
just helping, bud. I'm not mad.
Okay. All
Nobody's
right.
mad at you.
So from that conversation, I gathered many things, and if he never said the words "that is unconstitutional" in direct relation to the taxes on unrealized gains, then he must have said it in a different context. But the overall point that I was making is even the billionaire supporter that was on the Democratic side in this case knew that that was never going to happen and he wasn't worried about it. So taxing the rich, I don't think was exactly what was going to happen if you guys won anyway. And I think
Okay, but
that
but we're just talking
about
about plans, right? We're just talking about plans. So it's fine. But this is the problem, Dusty. Like we're sitting here arguing like what plan is better or what plan would work. And now we're in the middle of like, oh, well, that's not going to happen anyways. Well, that's
True.
kind of how you wound up picking the worst of the two plans, is because I think that's what we do as an American populace. It's like, oh, it'll never pass. Okay, I won't worry about it. Well, why don't we pass it? Why don't we come together? There's 60, the day after Trump was elected, the billionaire class increased their wealth by $64 billion in one day. In one day, they didn't do a goddamn thing. The American people went out and voted, and the reward to the American people was billionaires got $64 billion more. It's not a good system. And that's why, like, you guys don't ever have to vote for us, but we've got to figure out a way to get to an agreement that this system isn't working and we've got to fix things. And it can't be boiled down to Trump versus Kamala. It just fucking can't. We have to have real discussions. If Donald Trump's policies go into place, they will not fix any of these problems.
Okay,
And we still have time to put pressure, and you guys specifically have time to take the stuff that Donald Trump promised that we know won't work and make sure he doesn't put that in.
Well, I agree with you on one thing, is that no matter who we elect, their system that we're currently running on is making the rich richer. And I don't like that. And I know that you don't like that. But I don't think that either party's offering solutions that's going to make that better. I think that you guys probably just, like Democrats are just a little bit more about like hiding the fact that they are corrupt and get rich just like the Republicans do. I mean, every person in Congress, whenever they start joining, they all of a sudden their value just goes through the roof.
It's not true, bud. It's just not true. It's just fucking this is the thing. And this is where I'm frustrated, and I'm going to probably be frustrated for months working through this as I try and have some patience, but it's just not true, man. That is a complete distraction tool by the billionaires. So they're like, look over here. There's people that are getting rich in Congress. Yes. There are people who've done very well in Congress. And by the way, that has nothing to do. It's not hidden. You say they're better at hiding it. It's not hidden. We can see those numbers. If I go to Open Secrets, I can see.
Okay, so what I said was true then.
No, it's not true. It's not true. Let's look.
People in Congress get rich.
Yes, people in Congress get rich, but like, okay, but
on both sides.
Okay, but I get that, but.
So quit acting like Democrats in Congress.
Dusty. Oh my God. Dusty. I didn't disagree with you. I said we start talking about this both sidesism and people in Congress getting rich. I'm going to say this isn't a fucking problem. It's not the problem. It's not a problem. It doesn't matter hardly one fucking bit. What matters is that those people in Congress refuse to do anything about the billionaire class taking all of the money. And the billionaire class trickles a little bit down into those to those folks. And the reason those folks can make money off the billionaire class and get that money trickled down is because we as a voting bloc refuse to vote for the people. We did not. A vote for Donald Trump does not make any of this better. And maybe a vote for Harris didn't make it better either. But can we stop fucking pretending? And could we just get on the same page? Trump's president. He won. You guys won. Congratulations. Can we get on the same fucking page and demand that guy that you just put in do something good for America? Can we demand that the Republicans who just got control of the Senate, probably the House, can we say, hey, can you fucking do something for America? Can you do one goddamn thing? Because the last 4 years, you didn't do a goddamn thing for America. And then these last 4 years, very few things got done for America. I'm so fucking tired of arguing like, oh, well, this side and this side. I'm done because they don't do anything. And they just get you, Dusty, to do, and me. I fell into it too. They just get us to keep going and going and going and arguing about who's more corrupt. And then we get lost in that and we don't do a goddamn thing for America.
You know what?
Women in this
100% believe
election,
that.
women in this election lost rights. That's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. Women in this election and in 2016 lost rights. And we know it's crazy because everywhere abortion was on the ballot, it passed. Or if it didn't pass, it's because states like Florida said, hey, listen, our electorate, we don't trust you. We don't trust the voters enough to make decisions. So we're going to set a higher bar for things to get through. So now it's got to be 60%. So when 57% of the people in Florida said we need to protect a women's right, the government was like, no, we don't trust you enough. We have a problem right now of governments seizing power, state governments, federal governments. And I'm just asking you guys, you won. Congratulations. Can you join us now? And Ron DeSantis should be immediately. He should have people marching outside of his office saying, we the people spoke. We said protect a woman's right to have an abortion. We said that the 6-week abortion ban is nonsense. The majority of Republicans agree with that, or of Floridians agree with that. And yet we can't have it. I don't care about this partisan politics shit. You either agree that big government's a problem or you don't.
But Jay, I understand what you're saying. But
Can you agree with me there that the people of Florida should have protected, that in Florida the right to an abortion should have been protected? Can we agree there?
I agree with that actually.
Thank you.
100%. Actually, so that's one thing that I think a lot of Republicans will agree with that too. Actually,
Can I ask one follow-up question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you see that not once in the last 8 years has that happened on our side? We haven't taken anybody's rights away for 8 years. Nobody's rights have been taken for the last 8 years. LGBTQ people have had their rights taken. Women have had their rights taken. And states have seized power. In Oklahoma, they're forcing people to teach from the Bible. It's Republican states that are seizing power. And I'm just asking you, I'm not telling you to vote for us, but can you guys start like acknowledging, hey, this is a problem? Florida and Oklahoma specifically getting pretty fascisty.
So, first of all, Jay, like part of the reason why I came up here today is because after the win, I wanted to just remember. Hopefully, you remember this conversation we had a while ago. Where
Dusty, would you mind responding to what I said first, and then you
hold on though? It's related to what you said.
Okay,
it's related.
Gotcha.
So yes, I agree that like the fighting between the two parties is just kind of a trap of Americans falling into, where all of a sudden we realize that no matter who was in office, blah blah blah. And I understand that the abortion rights issue is a thing that needs to be addressed. I understand that, but one of the problems is that
but not abortion rights. My argument in Florida is that the people don't have a voice. My argument isn't specifically abortion. That was just an example. My issue is that while a lot of you folks say that you care about government overreach and you care about the government forcing their way into things, I'm just asking you, during this presidency, will you stand with us on those types of things? When governments overreach, will you not just put on, oh, red government, I got an excuse it. Blue government, it's definitely their fault. Because I think we agree. I don't think Oklahoma has the right to tell their students that they have to learn from the Bible in school. And I don't think Florida's government should have the right to tell their voters that we don't trust you.
In Oklahoma, they're forcing kids to learn from the Bible.
Yeah.
Like it's mandated.
Yeah.
What? No, there's no way that's true.
Want me to show you?
Is it mandated that it be included in the curriculum along with everything else, or is it
Yes.
mandated that that's the only?
That it's
Okay.
included in the curriculum.
So that's kind of different than mandating that it be the only thing that people
It's a
learn from.
religion, dude. It's a state.
true.
It's a
Actually,
state
it's pretty
mandating.
against-
It's a
it's
state
pretty against it.
mandating that one religion be taught in school.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a problem.
Okay. And look, I'm just telling you, like, these are the things that we've been afraid of, and we didn't message right. But in Texas, women are dying. Women in Idaho, women are dying. And it's because the governments made choices without the people. They're like, we know better. We don't care what the people of our state think. We're not even going to give them an opportunity to vote. We know better. And the reason they do that is because they know nobody in Texas that's a Republican and nobody in Idaho that's a Republican is going to vote them out and vote for a Democrat. It's just never going to happen. People are still going to go to the polls and be like, yeah, I don't like this, but I can't. And we saw that. I showed a chart at the beginning. Like Republicans, when they leave the party, they don't join the DNC. They go independent. But when people leave the DNC, they join the Republican Party. But we're not, so we wouldn't see that. And so you have states like Idaho, like Florida, like Texas, some of the reddest states. Not only are they telling the citizens no, but they're also gerrymandering the fuck out of these districts so they can maintain that power. And I'm just saying, like, when this stuff happens, can you guys just stand with us? I'm going to do my best the next 4 years to not just like make my show Trump versus whatever. I don't want to talk about Donald Trump, but I do want to talk about the things that are happening in front of us that we should be able to agree on. It's my bad. I messaged it as Trump is a fascist, Republicans are fascists, and that wasn't a winning message. And it
Yeah,
and it turned
can I
people
just-
off.
Yeah.
But there
I know.
is fascism, and I'm just asking you. I will
There
commit.
is.
I will commit
We're
to
not
not
all.
to not labeling you guys all as fascists. If you'll
Thank
commit
you.
to standing up with us, even at times when it's against your party.
Yeah, I will.
Great.
I will. If it's something
Perfect.
that I don't, because I don't agree with Donald Trump on everything. His team of people that he has and his overall plan just resonated with me more. And I know that you guys don't want to hear that, but
No,
one
no,
thing
no, no,
that
no. I do want to hear that. It's obvious, and I've probably processed it faster than others. There's people in this chat right now who absolutely hate you just because of who you voted for. And there's others that
know.
hate
It's
you
okay.
because of conversations we've had. And
I
then
know.
there are other people that are split. And that's just the way it is. But we have an opportunity to reset. We have an opportunity to do things different. If you're serious like I am about just doing what's best for this country, we got to drop the partisan shit, and we got to talk about issues. And then when it comes time to vote, we've got to be able to look at our candidates, and with it, like, as a group, we can maybe say, all right, where do we fall with this candidate? Maybe we crowdsource this a little bit more. Because truthfully, I do agree. I understand Trump resonated more with you. Where I look back at this, Dusty, is I say, I think Kamala was a better choice for you, and I should have messaged it differently. Because I agree, like the messaging worked for you, and you don't have to agree with me right now. I'm just saying, and maybe I'm wrong, but over time, if we can at least agree to step in and have and put pressure on our government when they do things that is overreach, I think that's how you start to heal. Like, people like saying fuck the government. It's one thing we all like. So
No,
that's
it's true,
a way we can heal, is say fuck the government. And by the way, in saying fuck the government, we're saying fuck the billionaires. And we go after the billionaires with the same zeal. And I just want to say, like, as we go forward, if you see that the middle class is hurting and Donald Trump is just cutting tax, if you see that these tax cuts start going overwhelmingly to billionaires while the middle class struggles, I'm just asking you to consider changing your mind at that point.
Let me comment on that really quick.
Sure.
Because the reason why a lot of people resonated with Trump is because of the way they feel. People vote on feelings, and a lot of people probably shouldn't do that, but that's just how people feel.
Yeah.
And they feel like they can't afford things. They feel trapped. They feel like they can't get out of their debts. And you know what? If Donald Trump's in office for 4 years and people still feel trapped by the economy, he's done.
But we
and his
can't
party
accept. But
is
we can't
done.
accept that. We can't accept that that's the reality of America and just
But
move
if it
forward.
doesn't
Because what
happen,
it
though,
because
will you acknowledge that he
what it
had this
means if we
plan?
don't fight against that, Dusty. If we
But
don't fight against that,
no.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree with you. I'm just saying if that's what people feel. But sometimes what people feel is wrong. So we've got to do a better job before it gets to election time of matching feel and real. And we've got to put those
Okay.
together.
So
Because
if
feel you can believe a lot of dumb shit. I mean, that's how the Holocaust happened. It was feel.
see, this is
And
Jay.
I'm not
This
listen.
is one thing that
Oh
you
my
told
God.
me one time, that you compared me to a Nazi.
I'm not comparing you
And
to a Nazi.
you
Listen,
did,
stop.
though,
Listen,
on one of your lives.
this isn't about sides. Hold on. This
No,
isn't
you
about
did it
sides.
to me
This
on one
isn't
of your lives.
this
You
isn't
called me one, and you called Trump one, and it actually stung a lot. You actually made me cry that day, which I'm willing to admit in front of 1.2K people. You came out and called me a Nazi follower. You said Trump was equal to Schmittler, and
I never
ever
said that.
since,
I
yes,
never
you
said that.
did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you
I've never said
did.
that he was equal
And
to
it was
Schmittler.
when I came on
I've
your
never
live,
said that.
and I
Wait,
toned to these
Dusty,
two
Dusty,
guys because I said
let's hold on.
you
Dusty,
and
let's hold
Philippe
on.
are part of the
Hold on,
problem.
Dusty. Hold on, please. I never said that. I'm
Oh my God.
100% sure that I called you
You
a
just lost all
schmotzy. Hold
credibility.
on.
You
Let
just
me
lost your
finish.
credibility
Let
with me,
me
dude.
finish, Dusty. You don't know what I'm saying yet, and you've decided I've lost credibility. I 100% bet that I called you a schmotzy sympathizer. I'm willing, and whether I believe that or not, like the messaging doesn't work, and it shouldn't be said. Like that stuff shouldn't be said.
You apologize for it.
I don't think that Donald Trump is equal to Schmittler because
Okay, good.
Schmittler did the Holocaust. And then the third thing, when I just brought up the Holocaust right now, it had nothing to do with Republicans. Okay? It just had to do with how electorates can be moved to do crazy things when they think that when they're fearful. People when they feel backed into a corner, they'll accommodate more violent behavior. That's all I was saying. So what I'm saying is it doesn't have to be right or left. I'm saying if our electorate becomes one where our feelings and reality don't match up, we could become something like that. That's not partisan. I'm just saying electorates need to be informed or they risk condoning, and we've done it. Like, look how much bad stuff we've done across the world. And we've just sat back because at the end of the day,
starting
we're
with
like, oh,
Japan.
everybody's the same, right? So we've got to start matching reality with facts. And that's going to take some tough discussions and some long discussions and maybe some boring discussions.
Maybe, but I will, and always have been critical of things that I don't like, even if it's somebody that I wanted to win. Like, I am totally willing to admit stuff when I'm wrong, or the person that I supported is wrong, or anybody on their team that I think is dead wrong. I'm willing to fight against things that are wrong against the majority of Americans, especially the hardworking ones, and the ones that can't work, and the ones that can't afford things. And I just, like I said, I think you could be right where maybe your candidate was the better choice, but the message that came across just didn't resonate with enough people, or it was just presented in the wrong way. And I think your campaign did too much anti-Trump and relied on hating Trump more than relied on trying to relay what is important.
Yeah,
And-
I agree with that.
We can rehash that over and over, but
No, I agree. I
I
100% agree with that, and not because I think that I think I'm dead right on Trump, and we'll see. I think I'm absolutely right on Trump, but again, like the message that came across, like I'm a political junkie. I spend hours and hours and hours reading, watching. Like I watched. I mean, the amount of Trump speeches I've watched is insane. Very few people in this world have watched more than I have, right? Just percentage wise. And I think sometimes when we're more politically educated, we expect others to be politically educated. And so we talk about things that are real and are actually scary, but that messaging doesn't work for all voters. And so there has to be like a different place for that. I agree with you. I think that
But if his
go ahead.
policies, like Can you also just say, like, after a year or two and he implements something and it starts to benefit Americans, will you acknowledge that though, please?
Yeah, I don't, I
Okay.
didn't have a problem with that at any point. I'm fine with things benefiting Americans, um, but everybody knows. The thing is every economist knows what's about to happen. Everybody knows,
Well, we're about
and
to have a crash.
Elon's saying it too.
We're
Republicans
about
are.
to have a crash.
I know, but we don't have to have a crash. The reason we're going to have a crash is because Republicans are about to cut a bunch of taxes.
No, the crash
Yeah.
has been on the way for a few years.
It hasn't. It was on its way in 2009, and most economists agree that we avoided it.
Well, in 2008 there was a crash.
Did I say 2009? I meant 2019. If I said
Oh yeah,
2009,
2019.
sorry, 2019.
Yeah, no, we avoided it,
Because
and
of
for some
COVID.
reason the supply and demand chain got so messed up, and that's where
Yeah, but we've
the
recovered. We
economy
recovered, but
head into trouble. Where the transfer of wealth that you're talking about actually did a lot of harm to Americans, and
cutting.
we're
But cutting.
now
So
still trying to recover from that.
that's what
And I
I'm
think
saying.
it's been
So
like
we have to
Band-Aids on the
fix
situation.
that. We have to fix that problem. And I just don't think that any of these solutions being proposed, I don't think tariffs are a solution to that. I don't think cutting corporate tax rates are a solution to that. And what it seems to me that what this, based on what Elon's saying, what Republicans are saying, is that the way through this is to really fuck a lot of poor people. Cut the Department of Education, cut $2 trillion from spending.
I think
Who do you think's gonna be hurt by that, Dusty?
It's like what Tulsi said. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. She says everyone's freaked out because Trump wants to cut, and his team wants to cut the education system, the federal one. It's like, well, can you explain why we have like half graduating rates and like why our education system is so bad? So if we cut that, how is it? How are we cutting something
Have
that's
you looked?
benefiting
So
us?
I've looked at this data. Do you know if you look at the drop in our education rates and our testing rates, you know what we see? It correlates right along with that line.
Well, I'm actually interested because I don't know.
The amount of people going to charter schools or homeschool.
Well,
Because
what
it does
though?
two things. Potentially at a charter school, you're not getting a quality. You may not get a quality education. There's not a lot of oversight there. Some have good, some are bad. Homeschool, it's hit and miss. But a lot of homeschooling, especially in Christian circles, is ideologically driven, and those don't like an ideological education doesn't translate into better test scores. But at the same time, because of charter schools and because of homeschool and because of things like school choice, the public schools are being drained of resources. So that money, so you say whatever the budget was for education, the federal budget for education goes to the states divide it up. In my state, they took that money that came from the Department of Education and they distributed it. And a lot of that money went to just parents. And a lot of that money went to rich parents who can already afford to send their kids to a charter school or private school and are. But now they get the money. Their tax revenue that went into public schools is now being taken out of public schools and put into those private and those charter schools. So it's killing public education. This was the plan. You can go back 20 years and you can read Heritage Foundation documents explaining that this was the plan. The way to undo public education is through school choice. And eventually we'll be able to have our schools and we'll be able to put God back in schools. And we're seeing it in Oklahoma. But in my state, all that has meant for my state is our education got worse, and now we have budget shortfalls. And now we don't have enough money to pay for education. So we're having to cut from other places now in order to pay for education. And we're like places like infrastructure on water. I live in Arizona. We don't have water. We're in like a 20-year drought.
California, we have
Same deal.
Yeah.
And that money that should be going to education gets pulled out of education, and then we replace that money with money that we need for other projects. That's what's happening in America. You know who's every country that's doing well with education? All these countries that are rising, that are way above us, they all have public education, and it's great public education. And they also have free college.
Can you name one that has close to the population that we do?
No, but the population doesn't make a difference.
It does, though.
Well, what
Because when
about
you're
China?
trying to
What's the
mass
what's
pro-
what about China?
well, China is a totally different animal. Like whatever they're
What's
doing,
the
their
difference?
kids. Well, I don't know. Whatever they're doing for education is clearly like outdoing us.
What are they doing?
I don't know what they do.
They
I should
fund public education. It's free for everybody, and they fund school. They fund college too.
see how do they do that? That's crazy. I don't get how
It's
they
not.
do.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard. It's a lie that it's expensive. So think of like college is expensive because it's for profit.
Right.
So these state colleges, they used to be just run by the state. They weren't for-profit colleges. And then around, again, the introduction of trickle-down economics, these schools started operating as businesses instead. They have massive athletic programs. They have art programs. They invest in really pretty infrastructure. They build a big, beautiful campus, and they do that so they can attract more students and charge more money. And so, and then you have the student loan folks that are like, yeah, we'll fucking approve anything. So that money just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing, and there's no real stop. Like we're kind of finding the ceiling now. But what we found is college got so expensive that a lot of people couldn't go, and now we have a very uneducated population, very uneducated. And that's a problem. You don't want an uneducated population. And and my concern with let's say the hardcore, like more like MAGA Tea Party type folks, they're wearing that as a badge of honor now. Right? They're saying, yeah, look, and many celebrating now, like, look, the uneducated are in charge now. Well, like that, I think that's great if the uneducated are being represented by the working class and people who understand the things that they're about to go through, but they're not. They're represented by billionaires who want to enrich themselves.
Yeah, but it wasn't only
And the
uneducated
electorate's not
that
educated
support him.
enough to know what's happening.
It's like half and half. His supporters are half educated, half not, according to polling.
I was looking at
It's
exit
pretty
polls.
close.
It's
It's
not
about
that
half and half.
close. It's not that close.
Yeah, it is. You
Let
can't
me-
just say
I
that
have
the
exit.
whole.
I have exit polls, dude. I can tell
But
you, it's not as close as
just
you think.
uneducated people that support him.
It's not as
It's
close as you
not.
think. Let's see.
Even if it's 60-40.
Yeah, that's
like,
about
that's-
what it is. It's about 60.
Yeah, that's a 40% is a lot, dude. He got a lot of votes. That's a lot of educated people voting for him.
No. Listen, I said the MAGA extremists like Tea Party.
Okay, yeah. Well, that
Remember, and those people are largely the people. You can look at the demographics from like there's not a lot for MAGA wasn't like an official movement, so we don't really have demographics there, and that's why I said Tea Party, because we do have demographics on the Tea Party, and Tea Partiers were largely uneducated, and then those people turned into MAGA, and then there's other MAGA too. Like there's all sorts of different parts of MAGA. Like you now have like the crunchy granola mom that's in there too, and some of those people might be educated. I'm just saying that we have dumbed down our population. So as we put in trickle down economics in the 80s, what actually has gotten better?
Well, I mean, since the 80s, I think we've been in like. I mean, there's things that have gotten better, like advances in medicine have happened for sure. Our cancer treatment in America is like ranked in the top 3 because we have the best treatments for it. It's super expensive and it needs to be more affordable, but our research and development of pharmaceuticals is like one of the top.
Okay.
Our technology
And that's mostly done through government grants, right?
The companies that are for profit that only exist because of profits do heavily utilize government subsidies for it.
So,
but it's a two-headed thing, though.
Real quick. So we fund. Do you see the problem? One of the problems that we have is we fund the research. We give the research, or either the private company does it and we fund it, or we do it and we give that research to the private company, and then the private company makes all the money. Why aren't we profited? Why are the American people paying for this research if we're not only do we not get revenue
There's
sharing?
an idea right there.
Hold on. Yeah. Not only do we not get revenue sharing, but we're telling those CEOs with trickle down economics and all those people making the money, We're going to cut your taxes. You're going to pay less. And we're also going to continue to fund your R&D.
But also, here's an idea though, because that's a problem, right? Why don't, if somebody uses grants to produce a product that goes to market, they should be having to give a percentage of the profits back to the government.
I agree.
That's a good idea.
I agree.
And it should be implemented. And the other good idea that I've heard you say multiple times is there should be tax breaks for companies if and only if they use that money to give to their employees somehow.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, you don't have to pay this much tax, but you got to prove to me that you gave it to your employees.
So one of the things that we could
That's a good
do,
idea.
one of the things that we could add, like where we could come together on that is like, without asking you to vote for our people, if we could get conservatives to hold this administration or their governor or their state legislator accountable and say, hey, look, we're not saying you can't cut taxes, but if you're going to cut taxes, make sure that the benefit is going to the American people.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
problem with the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, and one of the things that we struggled with the messaging is that, yes, the middle, like you can look at wages from the middle class and you can see that those middle class wages went up. But what nobody ever was able to effectively communicate is that those wages didn't keep up. Those wages increase over time. That's what they do. But if they don't keep up with inflation, it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, like the acceleration of wealth on the richest among us, like that massively exploded. And I think that this is where Harris and Democrats actually have gotten wrong. And you can maybe hear me out on this. I
Okay.
think that there's two types of campaigns that we just saw run. And I'm going to give Trump the benefit of the doubt here. Donald Trump ran in 2016 on a pretty extreme agenda, and then he was president and he didn't get most of it done. None of the extreme stuff that he promised got done, even though that was like his whole campaign. Most of his campaign was just talking about the extreme stuff. Donald Trump understood, or got lucky, whatever you want to put him, that emotion, specifically anger and rage, drives people to the polls, right? And he did it again here. But I'm just advocating that as we go forward, like, you guys can pressure them. You can pressure them to do this exact thing. Because Kamala, what she did is she said, I'm going to target Republicans that don't like Trump. And I think we all knew that. We all knew this was her strategy. We said it. I thought it would be a more effective strategy. I was wrong. But she targeted moderates or Republicans. And so when it came to things like fracking, where even though I think her answer was fine, that she's saying, like, I'm personally against fracking, but I understand America's not, so I'm not going to ban fracking. When it came to that, when it came to universal health care, when it came to these things we're talking about right now, like, that
But
wasn't
she
the
dropped
messaging, and it
universal
should have been the
health care,
messaging, because all these things would pass a blue legislature, and the moderates in the party would come along with us. And I think the Republicans who left Trump would have also come along with us. I think the messaging was wrong. And that's all I'm saying, is that Trump, you look at it, whatever you want to say, he won. He deserved it. His messaging was better. I understand that I ran my show as a political show where we had like debate, and I tried to get like down into the minutia of things, and that messaging wasn't helpful. So I can either continue that and just recognize that I don't influence elections, or that I can't influence elections, or I change my tone. So that's what I'm trying to do, is change my
Well,
tone. I think you're wrong for who you voted
a little
for,
too hard
and
on
I think we
yourself,
have like
though.
2 more years, and I think we have 2 more years to convince folks like you who aren't just here like with their head up Donald Trump's ass. You do want to get to the right answers, and you didn't feel like we gave you the right answers. The goal is, in 2 years from now, whether you're voting with our party or not, you're not going to vote for people who aren't going to do what's right for the American people.
Yeah. And I just think, I probably shouldn't share this idea on a live, but there is a way. I think the only way to give power to the American people, the consumers, because really all of the power lies with the American people. It's just we all act so independently, and we want our own voice so bad that destroys what's called our group psychology. And if we had group psychology, we would control America. because we do. The way we purchase things is what makes everyone wealthy. So there should be someone that creates an app that's for consumers, that basically the app would be something where it would be like, okay, this week we're not buying from Walmart because they did this, and millions of people on the app would be like, all right, I'm not going to shop at Walmart unless they change this. And it gives people a group buying decision. Like, someone should design something
Yeah.
like that unifies
I'd be
people.
okay with that. I'm not super interested in that, but like I don't think it's a bad idea. Like for me, the goal is going to be messaging and getting our messaging across. Like, and I don't think, frankly, I don't think anybody in the Democratic Party is, outside of like Pete Buttigieg, is a great messenger. I think Buttigieg was probably our best messenger. I thought Tim Walz was a pretty good messenger for certain people, but he can't go into, he's not going to have like a deep debate going on issues. Like, he just spoke to American farmers, but that didn't even seem to matter either. But yeah, I think going forward, all these things that you're talking about, I think we can win back a lot of these. The people like yourself who you vote for MAGA, but you don't identify with MAGA. You don't even like MAGA. You don't like the crazy shit that they do. You don't like that you have to defend it, but you felt like because that's where you were going to vote, you wind up getting pushed into a scenario where you have to defend that. And I think that was one of our big mistakes, is we forced all of MAGA to defend Donald Trump and ignored what they were really voting on. And I think we missed the I think we missed an opportunity with a lot of voters. And now it's an uphill battle, because getting those voters back, especially for some of them who, like yourself, we called a schmotzy sympathizer. I think it's our job to win that back, and we have to do it with actual policy.
Yeah, and it does suck, because there is a big part of the Trump supporters that we all have to just to kind of ignore and be try to apologize for them, but they are part of this movement, and it's annoying.
Yeah.
Because it really is. And then, when you do say, oh, I am a Trump supporter, everyone kind of groups you with them, and it's tough, because it's like a lot of the things that you're bringing up right now, I 100% agree with you on. But Trump might not agree with those specific things, but just overall, just what you're saying is true. But I hope that, yeah. But I do appreciate the show, though. So
yeah. Well, dude, come back. I'm gonna read some messages, get to the next one. Come back though.
Okay. See ya.
Good talking to you. See ya. Let me read some messages real quick. Sorry, guys. Travis on YouTube sent a super chat. Thank you. Travis said, as a black millennial, I have to say this election really crushed me and made me lose some faith in the left. I was really hoping people were going to show up and do the right thing. Yeah, you should lose some faith in the left. You absolutely should. Bree is back. Bree says, here to offer reprieve during these conversations. How do people make a pool table laugh? They tickle its balls. So how about you be the pool table and let me know when I can come make you laugh? Terrific. I need laughs. I need never mind. I'm not gonna say that. Jenny, you don't got to read this out loud unless you want to. You're doing great, man. Amazing. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the words of encouragement. And just as a reminder, I really am not beating myself up. I'm trying to just be honest with what happened. Sal says Unicorn adjusting her script. That's what all that crumpling noise was. I didn't remember Unicorn, but I have no doubt as to why her and I struggled to have a conversation before. Stephanie said the words might be meant to enrage, but my 13-year-old daughter is already hearing your body, my choice at school. These boys don't know what they're doing. That's devastating. That sucks. That sucks. Joyce says, keep on keeping on for as long as you can. Thank you. Appreciate it, Joyce. Look, we're moving on. Election's over. So we're just moving on. We can, everybody copes with things differently. It takes people longer than others. This is what I do. If something in my life happens, I take a day or two, I sit with my feelings, and then I try and figure it out. I'm not a person whose initial reaction is very trust. I don't trust my initial reaction, so I have to sit for a little while. Yeah, Mark, Trump's message was more effective, not better. I agree. That's one of the things we can take, is I do think we have a better message. We just have to message it better. Cindy says, do you know Jeff is a slimy fake, right? No, I don't know that, Cindy. Look, I'm just, frankly, I think that people need to chill. I understand you're upset. I get it. But this is what they say about the left. They eat their own. And I think that's true. I think some of us are eating our own. Shannon says, for these combos, make people in power scared. Keep up. Thank you, Shannon. Appreciate that. Betsy says, thank you for still being here with us. And I think I read that one already. Michael, I think that's Tex. Still sending money, though he's blocked. Atlas Intel, Rasmussen, accurate. Polymarket, accurate. No, they weren't. They weren't. Their polling wasn't necessarily right. But the argument about them was that they were right leaning, and that's why you don't trust them leading up. Like, yeah, when Republicans win, their polls are going to look good. When Republicans don't win, their polls are way off. There's a lot of other pollsters who, no matter who wins, their polls are pretty close. I haven't looked at those yet to determine who did best yet this election. But yeah, if you always pick Republicans, then sometimes you're going to look like you're right. But if you're not right when you don't pick Republicans every single time, I don't think you're necessarily somebody who should be trusted. Oh, and by the way, yeah, let's just cover that. There's a video going around about Jeff saying some shit. You obviously you don't see his face on it. That is 100% Justin, who is a Republican creator. I don't know if Justin meant to do that. It sounds like Justin was like just LARPing as him, and then somebody clipped it and spread. But ask yourself, are we any better than MAGA? Than the MAGA folks that not all MAGA, the MAGA folks that spread fake videos? If we do the same thing, I don't think that makes us any better. Just my opinion. You guys can say whatever you want to Jeff. Jeff came to our side. You can think he's a phony. That's fine. But he was up there with a voice every day, and I don't think we should lie about him. I don't think that's fair. All right, let's open this up.
Okay.
Hey, what's up?
Just yeah, it's. Can we just try not to eat each other as much? We're just cannibalizing each other. It's a lot. So, but I come out. Did you update the gift goal number?
I'm doing it right now.
Oh, okay. So if you guys could help recognize we've got a gift goal that we're trying to hit each day, so we can keep doing this on a regular basis. It's kind of Jay's job. So if you want to send a message, funny, encouraging, embarrassing, whatever you want to do, that would be cool. I mean, if we could get back to some of that kind of normal, that would be awesome for me. I would like that.
What you're hearing is Jen having to read Discord messages and my DMs for the last 3 days. That's what you're hearing in Jen's. This is called exhaustion that you're hearing out of Jen.
Yeah, it's a lot, guys. I mean, I don't know. When we were up on the live, on the night of the election, to read the comments on the live and Discord messages, the negativity is so thick, but we are where we are. And we got to figure out how to move forward.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah. So if you guys go follow us over on, subscribe to us on YouTube. If you want to message a mod, we can get you into the Discord. Like I said, the gift goal, and then we also have merch. The link in bio. If you,
Jen, will you send me the video that's going around about Jeff? Well, I'll just show you guys. I know a lot of people are asking. I'll just show you guys why it's 100% fake.
Yeah, I downloaded the video.
And I can message Justin. I think Justin would even. Do you want to message Justin and just say like, "Hey, what? Like, this is your voice, right?"
I'll check and see. I think someone already had. But yeah, I can do that. The other thing too that I have an issue with Jessica is I went and I told her, "Hey, I don't want to be that guy," but that's not his voice. She's been deleting everyone's messages that disagree. Called me a simp for Jeff. And I have screenshots. I always have receipts.
Let's leave that. Let's not eat each other. But show me those privately, because that's fun.
Yeah, I'll show you those. It's just I don't it gives us less credibility. So, but yeah, I'll send it to you. So gift goal, YouTube, merch, and Discord. Thanks.
Perfect. Thanks, Jen. Appreciate it. All right. Next, Jen told me who was next. Let me look, actually. Next was American Empire. Right there. American Empire. What's up?
Hey, what's up, man? It's Ed. I changed my
Oh, hey,
handle.
what's up, Ed?
Embrace the state. What's going on, man?
Hey,
No, I was just listening to your last conversation, and like, I think it was good stuff. I think it's like progress stuff, and I'm all about holding MAGA accountable now that they have won. Starting with Florida, I thought that was disgusting. I think the 60% thing
yeah,
is
that's
like, and I
crazy.
know that I know that blue states, particularly, well, like at least now they're blue states, but when they were trying to legalize greenery back in the day, a lot of states did that, whether they were red or blue. They did the 60% threshold or stuff like that, and they stopped
Hmm.
it from happening for so long. And I just don't think it should happen anywhere.
No, I think that's silly. Yeah.
But I'm more cautiously optimistic about Donald Trump's uh, economic ideas. And one, I think he's going to have a better governor. Like by governor, I mean like a car can only go so fast, right, before the governor clicks in,
Sure.
and
Less brakes.
not like an actual governor. Like,
Yeah, I know what
but
you mean. Like on a golf cart. Yeah.
right. And like you brought up the Great Depression,
Yeah.
1929. It started in 29. In 1930, they had Smoot-Hawley. That was 67% across the board tariffs that Herbert Hoover did. And then even after the American Reconciliation Act, I believe it was, when FDR came in, we still dropped in unemployment. I think we had an immediate bump just for whatever reason, and then it went back down. Well, I'm saying down, but I'm actually talking up. Under FDR, we didn't come out of that war until World War II. Well, we didn't come out
Yeah.
of that depression until World War II, and we were able to become essentially a superpower. So I think
But
that,
doesn't it
and I
seem like
understand.
doesn't it seem like I mean, if you look at the cause of the Great Depression, you had obviously it ended with the I mean, I guess it really kicked off with the stock market crash, but you had banks who were allowed to loan out more money than they could cover. You had obviously the increase in tariffs through Smoot-Hawley,
Right.
and then people thought like just investment was the way, and you saw this massive push towards investment and the stock market. And
And
what
then you had
nobody
like
and the thing I think we haven't really necessarily learned from the 1929 crash is stock market is highly manipulatable, and it needs to be heavily regulated. And every time we have deregulated it and deregulated those that are working within those financial institutions, we have a crash. And
right.
that's my concern is we've got this ideology is we need to cut taxes and deregulate. Crypto makes me very nervous because
Yes,
that's going to be deregulated as hell now, and all the people at the top that are making the money running pump, like there's so many people that have run like 15 pump and dump schemes, and they
right.
we don't even regulate it, and now
Yeah, no,
we're
because
gonna open that up.
I actually just put a bunch of money into Dogecoin just because, not like, didn't put my
'Cause
house on it,
you're part of
but
the
just
pump.
because
Yeah.
Elon Musk, yeah, I'm ready for the pump, baby. I'm ready, like,
And how
because I
silly
know
is that though? Right?
no,
It's
it's
silly that
ridiculous.
just the fact that Trump won, there's going to be some savvy folks who make money off this, but then a bunch of people get in late and they're all going to lose everything.
Yeah, yes,
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad
Uh,
system, and I
Not
don't know why we're
financial advice,
choosing
by the
to
way.
deregulate it. I don't. That's the part I don't get. Like we're struggling right now as a country. I don't understand why deregulation is a good idea.
Right, and what it does, it calls to remember the robin bearers of the turn of the 19th century or 20th century, right? Going in from the 1800s to the it makes you think of people like J.P. Morgan, not the bank, but the actual guy, and like all
Yeah.
the ridiculous things, like how he literally locked senators and presidents in rooms and said, "You can't come out until you fix this." The way, and by fix it, I mean do what I tell you to. Like these are like situations that we can't afford to be in right now.
Can I ask you a
But I
question?
don't see. Yeah.
Do you see Elon using his platform and his money to influence elections in the same way that you would like J.P. Morgan?
Uh, he, no, because he's not necessarily having any control over finance itself.
Well, but they're going to put him
Like
in
J.P.
control.
Morgan
They're
was
going
a
to put him in
banker.
control of that, though.
Are you asking? Do I think he bought his way into that? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, first, I guess, yeah. I guess if we agree, do you agree he bought his way into it? I think
Right,
that. I
because
don't know if you
the
agree on
first thing
that.
I want to say about Elon Musk, even though I think that the immediate of him helping because I feel MAGA is a populist movement, so immediately, and I'm a fan of populism, so the immediate idea of him helping the cause of populism in the short term, I think he did well. As Elon Musk himself goes, I don't trust him as much as I can throw him. I think he's a dork. I think he's cringe. I think it all adds up.
He
I
can't
think
jump.
he's
He can't jump for shit.
yeah, no. He's built like he's got a little person running him on the inside. I get it. But I do think that he's
Weirdly,
going
like the most
past oversight.
accurate. That's might be the most accurate description I've ever heard of Elon Musk. That he seems like a big person with a little person inside running him. That's weirdly accurate. I don't know how, but that's accurate.
but yeah, no, he's a creepy man. His history is and for someone who is from a family that is like so successful, he's also strangely mysterious, particularly for how in the public life he's been in for the past decade. But
But
I
I'm
do
just
think
wondering,
that
like, with that, like, does it give you any I guess we don't really know with Elon yet. We just know what he has said and what they've said. If Trump were to give Elon control, like Elon says he's going to, would that make you nervous?
I think Elon is more of a puppet than he realizes. That's what I think Elon Musk is. Like I
And do you
think
think do you think Peter Thiel is pulling those strings?
that could be one of the string pullers. That's
What about Putin?
Putin.
It is
You
interesting
know that I
it is
have
interesting that they call each other a lot, right? That's kind of interesting.
right. Yeah. You know I have interesting takes on Russia though. Like I'm anti-interventionist to the point where
To the point where you're okay with them
with them intervening.
with them
Yeah,
taking other countries, yeah.
yeah, like
And I think
so.
Trump probably is too. I think Trump probably is on your side with that. That's a
Right.
gamble.
So
What do you
like
think about do you think there's a chance Trump just lets Russia do what they want? Like he's probably going to
if
try and give them Crimea and the Donbass, right? I think we
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
agree on
no, and
that.
I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to get the Eastern Oblast and Crimea. I think Zelensky is going to tap out for the sake of his people. And considering, and by the way, I understand a lot of these polls were done under duress, but considering even before that duress started, a lot of people in these areas associated themselves with Russia before Ukraine. I don't think it's going to be too much of a push. I think that like it would be smooth. Like I don't think a lot of people would be displaced. I don't think a lot of
So
things
do you
like
think
that would happen.
do you think that's going to satisfy Putin, or do you think that's going to enable Putin? If that
I
were to
think
happen.
that
Obviously we don't know
well, I
yet,
think
but
that if Donald Trump runs the hard line that he says he's going to do, he goes, "Look, I'm bartering this deal, and if you disrespect that deal," because another thing, because like I've read some preliminary like skeletons of concepts of ideas from the Trump side, and they're going to arm Ukraine. They're going to arm Ukraine. I don't think they're going to give him nukes. That's what he wants, Zelensky wants, but I don't think they're going to get that. And what they're going to do is they're going to give them as much armament as possible outside of nukes and then ban them from joining NATO for at least another 20 years.
who said
And
that? I haven't seen that. Who said, do you know who?
yeah, hold on, let me try to pull that up for you.
Better not be Mike Davis. While you're pulling that, I think we should all be able to agree in this
Sounds very
country.
Mike.
I think we all agree that they better. I don't think Mike Davis could be confirmed anyways, but they better not give that guy any real power, because Mike Davis might be like an actual schmatzy or just a crazy
Who they
person.
really shouldn't give power to is fucking Pompeo.
What's that?
Who they really shouldn't give power to is fucking Pompeo. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah. There's a lot of like Trump's going to have to navigate this really well, because there's a lot of people with questionable motives and a lot of resources that he surrounded himself with. There's a lot of potential stabbers in the back. Like RFK could potentially stab him in the back. Elon could stab. I wouldn't turn my back on JD Vance for 1 second. I think there's a good conspiracy theory that the Trump boys convinced JD Vance, or Trump, to take JD Vance because they know that JD Vance will cut him a deal if Trump's gone. Because if Trump's gone and people want to sue their sons or come after their sons, they'll do it. And I think he thinks JD Vance will protect him and give him access to some of that tech money.
Well, JD Vance was always one of the boys, though, and I think that he has but one of the boys when it's like when you talk about like the Heritage Foundation boys and stuff like that. He's always been in the muck when it comes to those people. Like he's never shied away from it. I think now he's evolved, and I think he has higher views on what he wants to do personally. But where he comes from, like obviously they thought like now we have a player in the game. I think just a little editorial. I think that JD Vance had the best comeback of this entire election cycle. Like, because when he first started, that was goofy. When he was in that, I'm running for vice president. Oh, that's nice. In the bagel shop. Like, that was laughable stuff. Like, he looked like he was completely out of his depth. And by the end of that 3 months, he was making Tim Walz look like an idiot on a regular basis. So I think he did a really good job.
I think that's part of the part that concerns us is that JD Vance as a regular human, nobody liked him. But once JD Vance started being like vitriolic, then he got popular. And I think that's like one of our concerns. Like the way this group, like the entire group around Trump and Trump himself, the way that they rise is by just like beating people down relentlessly. And that I think for us, that's what's concerning. Like we all went at Trump. But we didn't really go after like the other people in the same way. We all went at Trump. And
Trump's a big target.
He's a big target and he's got a lot of dirt on him. And I think that was maybe a mistake, but I think that's what concerns a lot of us is that we see a country who the crazier MAGA got, at least the messaging, like but by the end of this campaign, the stuff Donald Trump was saying was crazy. It was like they're eating the dogs. The country will be communist and it'll all fall apart. And like it was like everything he was saying was just insane at the end. And I think he understood that he needed to get people who that messaging works for. But that's why we're kind of nervous because we're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people who only like anger.
Right. No, without a doubt. And I do think that there is, I don't think it's as big as you guys do, but I understand because it's so loud why you think it's that big. I do think that there is a hardline group of MAGA sycophants that are willing to die for Donald Trump and think that Orange Jesus is going to save them. And I was never that. My entire reason,
be honest. You were just a fucking troll for a long time. Be honest. It's time to be honest about that. This is the first time I've ever had a conversation with you that went more than 20 seconds. Usually it's derailed completely by this point.
I don't think I was a troll. I think that I had a mission, and my mission is to live to see the death of neoconservatism and neoliberalism. And I think that we're on a good road for that right now. I think populism is going to become the choice of both parties. I think that their backs are against the wall. And even the Democrats who pushed out Bernie Sanders, who take every populist figure and shove them down as far as possible, are going to have to give up ground if they ever want to win an election again.
Sure.
They cannot sit there and have Kamala Harris talk out both sides of her neck with AOC on one side and the fucking Cheneys on the other and say, why is everyone confused? I don't understand why.
Yeah, I hated Dick Cheney. I hated that. Like that's the one person that one of like 5 people in this country that you should never accept an endorsement from. Like he's the most hated person ever. Everybody hates Dick Cheney. Nobody wants an endorsement from Dick Cheney. Nobody.
People in the comments are saying Trump lost votes. He legitimately gained votes, and he gained them from actual Democrats.
He definitely did.
And we're not done counting yet. We're not even done counting. That's why I've been trying to calm down people on the side that I voted, saying, well, look, it was actually stolen. No, there's like 10 million votes left to count.
Yeah. No, the turnout's not going to be as low as people think it is. That the chart that's going around about the total voters with Obama and Hillary, and then the rise with Biden. Yeah, I agree with you. But mostly, I just like I guess the eye-opening thing for me is, and I've been trying to like get the right takeaway. I think that my takeaway isn't that the country is evil or that people are evil. I think that people are slow to recognize what I consider evil, and that most people don't make decisions based on the stuff that I talk about. Most people make decisions based on something that they can hear in 20 or 30 seconds and run with that. And that's where I think it's shitty because I think that the team Donald Trump put together is fucking terrifying. And I think on
Right.
our side there were pieces we could have put together, like you said, a more populist message, things like universal health care that are very popular, explaining how we fix the financial system in a way that doesn't make it sound like we're just trying to get handouts, which we're not, but that's how the messaging came across. I think that's what's frustrating for me as America is that I understand we lost this election, but um, I'm sad that who we've got in office because I do think that Donald Trump is the dumbest person to occupy office by
And that's fair.
miles. Yeah,
I do quite literally think that he has 4 years. I think he might not have
he might
that.
not
Like,
live
I
4
think he
years.
may. I think he may get 25th. Like, I think that is like a 25-75% chance. Like, he may get usurped. But like, and the ironic thing, and I'm going to say something that you may not agree with, like right off your bat, the knee jerk reaction is going to be like, "You're fucking shut up. You're fucking with me." But like, I think the ironic thing is that within the system created by a Donald Trump victory here, within a system created by populism becoming an actual popular view of politics in America, I think you have a better chance for something like universal health care than you do under Kamala Harris or a Joe Biden or a neoconservative winning, like
Yeah,
on
I
the
think
other
that.
end of the spectrum.
Yeah, I think so too, but I think maybe the way that it happens is different. I think that what we see right now, we're staged for, and not in like a just historically speaking, we're staged for now an unprecedented blue wave in 2022 or 2026, the midterms. MAGA Republicans, we've already seen they don't show up for anybody but Trump. Even if you look at I mean, Carrie Lake is probably going to lose. Mark Robinson lost by miles.
Oh
Republicans
yeah,
kind of
well,
care about the top of the ticket. So I do think that you're right, but I think that the way that that's going to happen is you're going to have a blue wave and then the next president. And whether the next president is Republican or Democrat, I think that blue wave if they get the messaging across well enough that you may get a Republican to sign universal health care into law. I agree. I don't think there's any argument against universal health care at this point.
right.
And
I
I
don't
think even
necessarily think it'll be
Republicans got that too
Trump that
because they
does it.
ran from that messaging every single time they were asked because even they know that Americans aren't dumb enough to think like, oh, if we just the problem with healthcare is that we don't allow enough competition. Like
Right.
nobody believes that.
Like,
Like
that's
that was
not a
2008. We're
cognizant
done with that.
argument.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I think like he has like it's only 25% against 25th because the Republicans know his drawing power. They definitely don't want to create empire Trump. Well, I can't speak for everyone. But that being said, I think that they are really working towards him spending the next 4 years being a kingmaker. This is the next guy. I swear, guys, this is me. This is just as good. Like that's what they're trying to get out of him. They're trying to create the next Trump. That's not Donald Trump. That's someone that's actually smart and maybe more maniacal in your view, like someone that actually knows what they're doing. Take a JD Vance or a Josh Hawley or something like that and be like, this is the guy.
Oof, that makes me sick. Are you concerned at all about the outsized influence that the Heritage Foundation has on Trump?
I mean, Project 2025 started as Project 1985, right?
Yeah, they've been
Like
doing it
this
forever. Yeah.
Yeah, this has been around for a long, long time.
But I don't think a president
Um,
has ever. I might be wrong on this, but I don't remember a president being. In fact, they said like Trump was the most pro Heritage Foundation president, and Trump bragged about that openly that he got 60% of their agenda done, and that the judges came from them. So I do think like as far as Republicans go, if you want to compare it to Bush or Reagan, like there is an outside, at least publicly, there seems to be a lot more deference to the Heritage Foundation. I mean, they are responsible for overturning Roe, which a majority of Americans think was the wrong decision. And
right.
it does concern me that Trump took that list from them, and he knew what they were going to do. That makes me nervous because it's like, how do we? Will we have any Republicans pushing back against the Heritage Foundation?
Here's the thing, and even though JD Vance is there, and I can't speak for Vance, but I can speak for Trump, that he's malleable in a way that he understands what Project 2025 almost did to this cycle. And he also knows where Project 2025 came from.
But he doesn't have to run again.
Yeah, no, but he does need to remain popular.
Why?
He does need to have some sort of grace.
I don't think
Because he doesn't not like being liked. He loves you. He loves people saying you're great. I love Donald Trump. He's an egomaniac.
Yeah, but I agree with you, but I don't think he cares what we think. I think he cares what Republicans think, and he'll insulate him. So those same people
I think he cares what everyone thinks.
Well, yeah, but it's enough for him. Like once people start criticizing him, he kind of insulates, and he surrounds himself with people who tell him what he wants to hear. I'm just saying, like, we'll see. But the question is, if you started seeing parts of Project 2025 implemented, especially like the scary stuff, like banning birth control, what do you think the Republican response is going to be to that? If some of these things start being implemented?
Well, I think one of the unintended, I assume they've seen it coming somewhere, but like seeing some of these playbooks and them not actually looking forward for more than a day over the last 10 years has been ridiculous. So I don't know. But like one of the unintended consequences of the Republican resurgence is that the majority of people that are voting for Donald Trump are no longer evangelicals. Like they're still a huge chunk, but like, I mean, like the 73 million, because evangelicalism on its face is dying as far as popularity goes. So most of these people who voted for Donald Trump aren't necessarily extremist, Bible thumping, get rid of abortion at any stage type of people.
Yeah, I agree with you. But do you think they will stand up and be like, no, this is not okay? Because one of the things that we've seen with Trump supporters historically is that they will defend him with things that previously they stood very, very opposed to. I think specifically, like just looking at, well, it doesn't matter. I think we agree on that. We don't need specifics, but that's my concern.
Like the way I look at it, like I'm pro-life, but I'm pro-life for me. I'm pro-life for like if I got pregnant, which I can't. So like
not yet.
Outside
We're working on it.
So I'm pro-choice for people that are not me, but I'm also pro-localization. Now, I don't agree with what Florida did with that 60%, but if it was a 50-50 vote and it came out 57 anti-abortion, I would be more okay with that. I'd be even more okay if they broke it down to the county. Like that's the type of like actual voting that I'd want. But obviously these are like scale problems and America only has so much time on its hands. But that's what when you were talking to Dust about like the Bible in Oklahoma and stuff like that, like, and then you were also talking about like the Florida thing, and I was like, well, the back and forth there is if Oklahoma voted for that to be in there, would you be okay with it?
No, I think it's it's unconstitutional.
Right. So it wouldn't. Well, that's the thing, because the Establishment Clause never even says a separation of church and state. It says the state will not establish a church.
Right, but the state runs the Department of Education, and so that's an establishment.
Oh, we're not going to have that anymore anyway, so we don't have to worry about that.
Jesus, that's terrifying too. It's terrifying. I think that's the one part what MAGA is so fucking wrong about, and I think the data is overwhelming, is that this school choice thing is a disaster. Everywhere it's been tried, it's an absolute disaster. The states are bleeding money. Their test scores are plummeting. Children aren't being educated. It's an absolute, like literally everywhere it's been tried, it's a failure, a massive failure. And they keep doing it. They keep talking about it like it's a good idea. And it's so bad. I live in a state where they did it. It's fucked up our entire education system. It's terrible.
Right, but like when we actually look at like the funding of the Department of Education opposed to, which is a countrywide, statewide program, and we actually look at the funding of public education, it comes from income tax of those areas, and that's why rich areas have better public schools, and poor areas have worse.
Yeah, but
public
in
schools.
but in states like mine, when we put school choice, so like in my area, like Scottsdale, they have the nicest schools because they have the most incomes, right? So they're generating more revenue or tax revenue, and they can pay for more of their schools. But then on top of that, because of school choice, all of the parents that have in Scottsdale that are already loaded, they're now getting that money back. Their tax revenue is coming back to them. So they're essentially not even paying taxes for public schools anymore. So that money gets pulled out of the public schools. That's why school choice is such a failure, is that the richest people who already pay for private school or public school get to take their tax money out of the pool.
Right, and I believe I accidentally said income tax. I meant property tax.
Property
but-
tax, yeah.
Yeah. That being said, I didn't know. I'd have to look at the local system and how
should look at
school
Ari-
choice,
you should look at
particularly in,
Arizona.
like Arizona, where it's like, it's a desert state. So like some places, like Apache County, may have like nothing there for like all intents and purposes, and a place like Phoenix is, on the other hand, like booming.
Yeah, but
So,
I'm
like-
talking specifically about Maricopa County, which is where I live, and I'm
Maricopa,
talking
yeah.
specifically about the budget shortfalls in Maricopa County and the testing in Maricopa County. By every measure, it's an absolute failure. The only measure where it's not a failure is amount of people who got rich by opening a charter school. Those people have done well. That's about it, though.
Oh, yeah,
There's a couple
sure.
people who are making more money. My friend taught at a charter school for 6 years, doesn't have a teaching degree. His wife taught there too. No degree. They didn't have a degree among them, like between them. They were no, and they're just out here teaching school. He was like a film student, and then they hired him to teach history. No degree.
So you're telling me I should be a social studies teacher?
I'm telling you, you should work for a charter school. You don't even have to just know somebody. You'll get a job.
Jesus. Like, fuck. Like,
Check it out.
like,
I got to get to the next
understand-
person anyways. Let's talk again soon. But check out Arizona. Come back. We'll talk about it.
Definitely, man.
All right.
Next
Good talking to you.
time, I'll have
Congrats on
something
the
about
win.
Arizona to say. Later, man.
See it. All right. Let me read some messages here. Yeah, I guess we could all open a charter school. Jenny says, I've only caught the last couple of people, but the combos sound more productive than before. This may actually work to change minds about the left being evil. I'm going to do my best, guys. I'm going to do my best to set the tone of having real conversations. Renee says, I'm confused why Shuckett thinks Winsome Sears is Virginia is African or black. I thought MAGA believed people from Jamaica were neither. That's all they kept saying about Kamala. Make it make sense. Yeah, good luck with that. I didn't know that either. Carrie, thank you for the donation. Said, thanks for all you do. I think misinformation won the election. I wonder what we can do to fix that. I think that's the right question. What can we do to fix that? And I think it starts with looking at how we combat misinformation and judging. Is this working? Like, are our minds being changed? So I think the biggest criticism from so many, fairly, about the debates we had is it's the same people, they never change their mind. That's true. And when we talked about this yesterday in Discord about kind of the change of tone we wanted to take, a lot of people said the same thing. They'll never change their mind. Well, that might be true, but we've got to figure it out. We've got to see if a different way works. My way might not be right. I hope other creators try different things too, and that we learn from each other and we figure out what works. Bree says, my girls are feeling exceptionally heavy today. Would you like to help support them by being my bra? Yeah, sure. Michelle said, we're going to be okay. Make art, power up, and push your limits to find health and happiness. That's really good advice, Michelle. Thank you. Did I read Vanessa's already? Sending so much support to you and Jen. I think I read that. Poor Jen. Jen's had the worst of it. She for sure has had the worst of all of this. And the moderators in TikTok or in Discord. Patricia says, no one's fault. Yeah, it's no one person's fault. I agree with that. Haley says, let's play Barbies. I played Barbies yesterday. You're Ken and I'm the box. Let's play Barbies. You're Ken and I'm the box you come in. Jesus Christ. Well done. Well done. Look, you guys are welcome to oh hey Jen.
There's another one in our DMs.
Oh, PayPal message. All right, this is from I don't know, maybe Patri. Morning from Australia, Jen. I sent as a PayPal as I don't have access to Cash App and Venmo and unsure if messages are seen on PayPal, but I attached this. Can I? This is for me. Okay. Can I give you an Australian kiss? It's like a French kiss, but down under. And afterwards, you can keep your snag warm in my Barbie.
See, this makes me feel so much better. Thanks. Some stuff is getting back to
Oh
normal.
my
Look how
God.
red he is. See? We'll be
Back
okay.
to normal. Jesus. Well done. Well done. That's so good. That
All
that
right.
made me feel better.
I just
All
want to
right.
make sure you saw that one.
Okay, thank
Are
you.
we planning on doing friendlies today?
Oh shit. Yeah, let me take yeah. But let me take the one you sent me about.
Okay.
And then so friendlies, you guys can
yeah.
get in the box. Just let me take one more here.
Yeah. Okay.
Eli. Maybe not. And let me switch before we go. I'm gonna switch off of. I want to do the main one. We'll move it.
Do I need to hop down so you can
Oh
switch
yeah,
it?
yeah. Hop down for a second. So I can switch it. Thank you. Move that there. It's like a totally different camera view. That's so weird. All right. Let's get rid of this. Move that there. All right, Jen, go ahead and come back up. Yeah, I don't know why this camera it's definitely zoomed in. But I use a virtual camera, so it's weird that this looks different than the other one. I don't know why. Hannah, you sent a message? Thank you. Let me look.
And all right. Casey, Kim, or whoever, if you guys want to start filling out the box, we can get going. Where's it?
I'm sorry, Hannah. Hannah says, first, I've never felt so defeated and awful after an election. Second, can you touch on the investigation in Boston about running out of ballots? You're incredible and taught me so much. I'm going to be honest. Anything I've seen about election fraud, I haven't read. I just didn't. I don't think we're there yet. And if you want to send it to me, I'll start reading it this next week. But the last thing I wanted to do is come on and start talking about potential election fraud. If we start seeing stuff that has good evidence, I'll cover it. But unless we have evidence to back it up, I'm not going to play that game. I don't want to do that. Brianna says, all of my partners ended up being MAGA. Want to help me build a new harem? I'm first. Yeah, sure. Bree says, is butt cheeks all one word, or do you want to come spread mine apart to find out? Right.
See? This is so much better.
All right. All right. Who's first? Hey guys, and by the way, we'll be a little lenient. Like I'm going to come on again later tonight and do debates. So try and keep it to like under 2 minutes. I know we do. Oh, we've got it at 2 minutes. But do your best because there's a lot of people who want to talk.
I usually do like a minute 30 in, so it gives a warning to wrap it up. So
perfect. All right. Who's first?
Myth
lover. Hey,
you know
2 days in a row.
Me. You know you missed me. And I haven't even been to sleep yet after that 9-hour drive.
That's right.
Yeah. So I was thinking of some slogans, like some short ones, like, the type of stuff that Trump used. But it'd be like something simple like, we'll lower your insurance premiums. Short, succinct, to the point. Because I said that stuff to my mama. She's like, yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we've got to figure out a way. I don't know if it was you or for somebody that was just, and it might have been in our mod call before, but just saying like there's levels of what people want to hear, and we've got to be able to present at all of those levels. So we've got to at least have like more concise type content where that people who don't want to do any research can hear something and at least start getting that messaging in their head. Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
that.
it just easily digestible stuff because I mean I told on myself yesterday. I literally have to Google everything when people talk.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just I'm really extremely lucky that I moved to Illinois last month because there's I was really extremely worried about my autistic 19-year-old starting college and losing out on the tax dollars for any kind of like special disability services because he has a meeting on this coming Thursday to get accommodations, and if he doesn't have accommodations, he's not going to be able to go to school.
Yeah.
So, and that's going to derail any kind of backup plans I have if he can't get on disability either, because that's been a fight.
Yeah.
So,
that's one of the things we got to make sure is that we lost this election. But I honestly, I just don't think most Americans want to see people with disabilities or people who are on Medicare or Medicaid or people who are with the VA or food stamps. I don't think Americans want to see those people struggle. And so we've got to do a good job of, one, making sure when these attacks on those programs are being pushed forward, that we explain it in a way that everybody understands. And we also have to somehow have at least some sort of broad coalition where there's people on the right that agree with us and can pressure the legislators not to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time not being angry, like when my mom says dumb shit, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's not how that works, and then it turns into an argument, and then I completely lose her because she shuts down. They don't. They're just like, this is why I don't talk about politics. I was like, yeah, but you need to know who you're voting for and what their policies are. And if you're not going to listen, like, I have receipts. I'm sending links, man.
Yeah.
We've hit the.
Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, drop me. Sorry.
Go get some sleep. You gotta go to sleep. See ya. Who's this with the stained glass? Gregory.
Hey, Jay.
Oh,
What's
hey.
going on, buddy?
What?
I changed my background.
Yeah, you look like a Catholic church.
St. Gregory, that's right. Hey, I don't even need 2 minutes. I just want to thank you for everything you've been doing over the past couple years. I've really enjoyed being in the fight with you guys, and it's not over. I've been in touch with different people, with the ones that I've been working with. Join the Union is still going to be going strong. Lincoln Project's going to be starting to put some stuff out there. We've got an election in 2 years. We've got to make it 2 years. And after 2 years, we might be able to have at least some checks and balances in there. So if we can just make it through the two, half of America didn't know what they voted for. The other half knew exactly what it is, and that's what they wanted. And we need to remember that. But you know what? We can't give up now. We've all fought really hard for this, and I just wanted to get up and say how much I do appreciate you, Jay.
Thanks,
and it's been really disappointing. I'm just blown away.
Yeah.
But Jen's been a really good friend to me, and you have too, and I appreciate you.
Well, hey, we got to just keep going. Losses hurt; they sting, but we can turn that into motivation. I love what you're saying. You got to turn that into action, otherwise nothing changes.
Hey, just because we lost doesn't mean we were wrong.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Thanks.
Hey, you guys have a good one.
St. Gregory, good seeing you.
Yes, sir.
This motherfucker. What do you want, Fuzzy?
First thing I'm going to say is, Jen, I will get back to you in our DMs.
Not like that, Jesus Christ!
That did not come out right. If you let me know a time, he's a worthwhile.
We're talking about having a guest
rendezvous. Oh, a guest. Okay.
Will Westmoreland. I can get a hold of him, and
that'd be sweet.
He's more than happy to come up. He would love to.
Oh my God.
I know that went south real quick.
It's not so great, is it, Jen? It's not so great, is it?
I'm not going around telling everybody you're pregnant, ass.
Yeah.
So anyway, if he doesn't fucking play, we are no longer friends. I'm going to say that right now. I'm anticipating 18 points from him this weekend.
Who? CMC?
McCaffrey?
Okay, yeah, okay.
Are you
That's what you're
fucking?
talking
You
about.
didn't know who I was talking about? What do I always talk
Actually, I read a comment and I got distracted and I realized that I wasn't listening to what you said.
You
And
weren't
then you're like
listening to me.
18 points. I was like,
That's
he's got to be
what
thinking
I'm saying
McCaffrey.
about goldfish.
Yeah, I just got
So.
distracted. Sorry.
That's fair enough. But anyways, it's very disappointing. Lack of education, lack of people knowing what the hell they're talking about, and we are like 10% of the country that actually know what we're doing. That's unfortunate. I wish we could extend better. We could message better. The one thing that I would like to see, and this goes completely off topic, someone run on education. We need to take education and take it out of tax property. That is something I would love to see someone run on. And understand, I don't have any children, but take education. It's all on property taxes and make it a big pool and share with the entire community. That I would love to see someone run on that. But
Okay, beautiful. And look, if you're interested in children in the future, Jen's got one.
She's 10. She's 10. That's the only child I have and will have.
Someone talked about 10-year-old. I'll be dating you in 10 years. Someone said that. I don't know.
Get out of here. Get rid of it. I don't want to hear shit like that anymore.
How do I become
See you, Fuzzy. Get out of here.
Hazel.
Hazel, what's up? Hazel?
You did. Hazel. There you go. Oh, okay.
Hi,
Yes,
Queen.
Jay is a child. I have my own child, and then I have to babysit Jay. So I've got 2 children technically.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I am mad as hell.
Hell yeah.
Yep. And I am someone who loves diversity of thought, diversity of culture, race, everything, the gamut. But I work with 2 YT women who voted for Trump and one Latina who is a first generation who voted for Trump. And I get along with these people. I like them until I found out that they were voting for Trump. And I tried my best to explain to them, but now coming to work and, having to kiki, ha ha, and work with them is torture for me. So I'm definitely going to create an exit plan. I've also created a text that I'm going to send to my friends where I'm just, drawing the line in the sand. At this point, I've been very accepting and willing to work with people and listen to them, but I can't do it anymore. I don't want to be part of anyone who voted for Trump for my sanity. And it's going to come out however the way they want to receive it. I don't care at this point, but I'm angry and, I'm just drawing the line in the sand. And for YT women, I grew up in a very predominantly Black neighborhood. I'm Puerto Rican and I understood the history of Black people, and I always looked at YT women a little bit with the side eye, like, can I really trust them, And I always gave them the benefit of the doubt, embraced them, taught them, our, Puerto Rican culture, our heritage, our food, and embraced them. And seeing how they voted, a lot of them, not all, now makes me question. And I can understand, I can just imagine how Black women feel. And I reached out to all of my Black women friends to let them know that I'm here for them, that I'm an ally and I'm willing to go the distance with them. But for YT women who voted for Trump, and even the Latino women that voted for Trump, you have to stand up. Now, you can't expect Black women and Latino women who voted for Harris to be as willing and accepting as we were before. That's just, it's just not going to happen.
Can I ask you a question?
Enough is enough.
What does that fix?
What does that fix?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it puts the ownership into their hands, because I feel to a certain degree they've been takers and they haven't collaborated and be willing to push themselves out of the box.
But
And
don't you think if they understood these issues, they wouldn't have voted for Trump?
I just think
Because
that
sorry,
for
let
certain,
me say one more
go
thing
ahead.
before. I think that there's absolutely people who knew what they were voting for with Trump, and maybe they were in agreement with some of those policies. I also think that there are people, and I don't know what the percentage is. I think that there's also people who voted for Trump because they believed the fear mongering about the border, or they were just like, you know what, times are hard. I just want to get back to when times were better, so I'm voting for Trump. And for those people, um, I don't think it's necessarily fair to say, um, you voted for him, so I'll no longer. I mean, not even fair. Like everybody has to do whatever they do to protect their peace. But I would just say that there are people in my life who voted for Trump who aren't in my life anymore because they know exactly what they are voting for. And they know exactly, like they agree with those positions. And then there are other people in my life, good friends of mine, who voted for Trump for exactly the reasons that I talked about. And all I'm suggesting is that rather than painting with such a broad brush, like if you don't want to be around bigots, don't be around bigots. And if we want to cancel bigots, I think we should. I plan on that. I think some people are afraid that we're just going to let people come up here and be bigoted, but we're not. Uh, But a lot of these people who voted, they don't know what you know, and so
Yeah, but that's not an
that's the
excuse
option.
anymore.
It
I
isn't.
can
It's
understand
not an
giving the
excuse, but
benefit
it's
of the doubt
reality.
constantly.
But it is reality,
It
and
is
that's all I'm
reality.
saying.
And
And
so
that's
now
all
they
I'm
have to
saying.
understand and feel consequences. I mean, at what point do
Well,
they
what?
keep writing?
Well,
You
because they're
can't
not going to
ride with
feel that
me in the
consequence.
well, you can't ride with me in the sunlight and expect to ride with me at dawn. It doesn't go like that. You know what I mean? At what point they have to step up. And
Yeah,
we
but
can't
yeah, I
continue
agree. I
to
agree.
give them music, give them our recipes, give them, embrace them. My daughter is intermarried with another race. Oh, I've gone for 9 whole years embracing them. And when this came to head at the Republican convention, what they said about Puerto Ricans, not one of them texted me and said it was wrong. Only my daughter's husband. And that's because obviously he's married to her and now he realizes that. But not his entire family after 9 years. So we're no longer going to invest in them. We're no longer going
That's
to
fine.
share and participate because they're not bringing anything to the table, but they are extracting from us.
But either are you.
Well, we've given them everything. We can't be as
Don't you
sweet
feel
and
like
nice.
don't you feel like they feel the same way? That despite your views, they've continued to be your friend. I'm just saying, like, I understand this feeling. I don't completely understand this feeling because I'm not the one who's like actually losing rights. But I can understand like that detachment, and times are raw right now. But again, like we can do whatever we want. I would advocate not holding people responsible for things that they didn't intend. And if this group of friends that you're talking about are people that you worked with, like if you do think that that was their intent and they knew better, yeah, sure, cut them out. Like there's people in my life that I've cut out. But there's also people in my life who voted for Donald Trump who I am not going to cut out of my life because I don't believe that they understood some of the things that I think are deal breakers. And I think that's the key going forward. We have to figure out how to draw that line, and only you can do that individually. And I'm just offering, just as somebody who's dealt with this for years now, since 2016. I do think there's levels of different people. There are certainly big, like schmatzis are mostly Trump supporters. White nationalists almost exclusively Trump supporters. That doesn't mean everybody else is, and their adjacency to that maybe determines whether or not you can relate to them. But maybe some of those people in your life, maybe not. Maybe some of them can be flipped. Maybe some of them you can find common ground with.
And I get
That's all
that
I'm saying.
because I was once a Republican, okay? And I was an evangelical Republican. So I get it. I was voting Republican all my life until I woke up, right? And I deconstructed. But there was one thing, right is right and wrong is wrong. And I would never side with anyone who would say anything racist about any race or color or creed. Never. I would draw the line there. And
So should people have cut you off when you were a Republican?
No. I mean,
Why not?
that's up to them. That's up to them. That's up to
I know,
them.
but
But one thing I can tell you as a Republican, I was always speaking about human rights. I was always talking about, race and gender and how important that was. Eventually, I woke up and got out of the Republican Party because obviously I was groomed to be in the party since I was a little girl. But one thing people knew is that I would never go against human rights and race and color. And for people to think that
Hazel,
it is
sorry,
okay.
Hazel, can I ask you just real quick? Sorry to cut you off because I forgot we're doing just 2 minutes. I'm going to go
Yeah.
live again tonight. I'd be happy to finish this conversation. I want to give you the time to talk about it. I do have a hard cutoff at 1 because I have to go, and I don't want everybody else to be cut off. But I'm sorry to cut this short. I would love to talk to you again, either in Discord or on a live. I don't want to cut you off, but because I want to hear you out. But is that okay with you?
Oh, thank you so much. I really
Thanks,
appreciate
Hazel.
your.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
So we're gonna need to cut everyone that's in request. That's what we've got. We're not gonna take any more. So if you're removed going forward, that's why. So we're gonna cut the requests here.
Sorry, that's my fault. Positive impact.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Okay, good. Yeah, I so appreciate your change in tone today because I've been really struggling. I've spent, almost 80 hours phone banking for this election, which I've never done before. I've never, put so much effort into an election, and I was just like, my husband and I were watching the election results come in, and we were just like, I just couldn't believe it, and I'm still in shock. I'm just like, oh my gosh, and so I just really appreciate the change in attitude that you're demonstrating because it's really helpful to me to be centered in
Thank you.
moving forward, and it was really helpful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Look, I think that there are going to be 2 reactions to this tone. And those that are upset, I welcome that. I think you should be upset, and you should take your time. I would just say for those who are upset by this change, like, let's talk in a year. Let's talk after the midterms. Let's see if it worked. I'm willing to try different things. I'm willing to swallow my pride. I'm willing to let go of my hatred or my anger in order to try and better the country. And maybe I'm wrong, and we'll see. But I'm going to try.
Yeah, and I mean, I have certain people that I just cannot be friends with because of what they said and what they posted and things like that, and I have other people that I know voted for Trump that I'm, willing to look past that. But I do want to thank you and Jen for everything that you did. I know you guys worked your butts off, and it didn't go unnoticed. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah,
We'll see it.
all right, bye.
See you soon, I'm assuming. Devo.
Hey,
Hey.
I can't believe we're here, but I've just had this pit in my stomach the past couple of days, and I need to just not get over it, but it's not going to help anything, just what happens. But one thing I had, and I know there's still, like, for the House and the Senate, they're still counting and not all races have been called, but if there is for the House and the Senate, majority Republicans, and that's what it ends up being. I know we have checks and balances and things, but how likely is it that a lot of the extreme things that they've talked about, they can push through? And even like the first 2 years before the midterms, do you think there's really a chance they could push a lot through? Or I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the check against them, this is what sucks, is we have a system of checks and balances, which is the courts, right? The president checks the legislator branch, so does the judicial. The problem that we have here is we have a Supreme Court who has shown they don't care very much about precedent, and they don't care about what the American people want or think. The check that's going to go against Republicans, and this is why I'm saying, like, this is why I'm trying to branch out. The check against Republicans is going to be Republicans.
That's a great point.
So if we can't message, if we can't get on the same page with some of these Republicans, that's literally our only check available. Should the House go to the Democrats, our only check is going to be our relationship with Republicans and our ability to message to Republicans. So yeah, we should be scared. But if we cut Republicans off, they're not going to give a fuck. If we just stop talking to them, it's not like they're going to be like, oh, never mind. I shouldn't have voted that way. I'll change my mind and I'll talk to you. No, you've got to talk through it.
Well, hopefully we turn out for the midterms and stop
Yeah.
it. But all right, well, I'll keep watching. Hang in
All
there,
right.
everybody.
Thanks, Devo. We'll see you.
Thanks. Bye.
What's up, Perk?
Hey, what's up, Jay?
Oh, just enjoying a Friday.
Same here, man. I ain't been talking about politics. I'm just talking about how Niners can get on a winning streak. Goddamn, Chris McCaffrey is back. Jennings
That's right.
is back. Man, for the road, baby. Niner gang, bang, bang.
Bang, bang,
That's
baby.
all I care about. I
That's
can't
right.
be sad. I'm just going to focus on football, college football, and have a great time.
All
And,
right. I'll
I
keep doing
will see you-
politics.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
just do
And
football.
I'll see you tonight. I'll see you tonight.
All right,
And
Perk.
hey, Jen, how you doing? Good. Stay beautiful.
Thank you.
Hey, man, I didn't want nothing, man.
All
Y'all
right,
be
Perk.
good.
Good talking to you, bud.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right.
Emmy, what's up?
Hey, so I just wanted to come up and say thank you to both of you guys for your message this whole election season. It's been daily ritual for me to listen to everything you have to say because it really resonates with me. I wish I could get my family members on board. What would you have to say to family members that you don't really have a choice but to interact with that voted for Trump in order to maintain some sort of a relationship?
I don't know. I honestly, I don't. I mean,
Yeah, 'cause I'm
the
having a
separation
really
with my
hard time
family
with it.
isn't the separation with my family isn't just Trump. It's like a respect thing. Um,
Same though.
but I just think that the hardest thing, and it was hard in the debates today. Like the hardest thing is to not listen to respond. The hardest thing is to leave Trump out of the discussion. But I don't think that the messaging of look what all Trump did, like it didn't work. It doesn't work with these folks because, and frankly, like it's because of deniability. It's because they've created a way to deny everything. If Trump is accused of a crime, well, he wasn't convicted. If he was convicted, the Department of Justice is weaponized. If they drop a case in a Republican state, then it was justice. And so I just don't see. I thought about this for hours. I've thought about different approaches. I don't see a way that we are going to convince Republicans that the system was not rigged against Donald Trump. And because of that, I've just chosen, I think I got to try a different way. Because I don't think that worked. As much as we want them to see that, I look back at like my exit from the Mormon religion. The first thing wasn't the leader. The first thing wasn't like I lost my faith in the leader. It was little things that led up. And then eventually there were enough things on my shelf that I could question the leader. But you got to build those things first. And I think a lot of that is going to we take these next 2 years of Trump. And when there's stuff that we don't think Republicans agree with, we have to have level-headed conversations, not about Trump, but about the policy or the decision and where that's going to go. I think the messaging just has to leave Trump out of it. As much as we want to, and as much as he might be the
Yeah.
problem in our minds,
Yeah.
when we bring him in, it kills the conversation.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Thinking back to debates I've had with Republicans and Trump supporters, it's definitely, well, now it's a whataboutism conversation, and you don't have to bring him in. I was talking about her.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
exactly.
you're right. You're right.
Yep. All right.
Appreciate
Thanks, Emmy.
Yeah, I'll see you later. Where are you going to
See
be,
ya.
on yours or on Jeff?
Yeah, I'll be on this. Not Jeff.
Okay.
Jeff left TikTok, he said today, so.
Oh,
Well, he
shit.
said
I missed
he said he'll
that.
be around here and there, but he's not planning on hosting lives. So,
Oh, man. Okay.
all right, have a good one then.
All right. Yeah,
See ya, Emmy.
yeah. Have a good one, you guys. Thank you.
What's up, my friend?
Going on, man?
Hey.
Not the result we were looking for, obviously. I just want to say, everybody that's here, make sure that you embrace your feelings. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to go through grief. I think sometimes we're like, get over it. We got to move on. No, I mean, if you care, and I know you put a lot into this, I did. There's a lot of other creators. It's okay to take some time and say, damn, this sucks. This hurts.
Yeah.
I guess my thing is I miscalculated. I thought our country and our national culture was in a different place. I thought that women were going to take AB as a very serious issue, and the numbers and data are telling me they just didn't. It wasn't the primary issue for a lot of voters. And I miscalculated that. And so I'm kind of disappointed in our culture. I'm not disappointed in us because a lot of us did the right thing. We mobilized, we tried to get people to vote. But I'd love to have you on too one day and just talk about like the direction of the party and trying to change our message, because I agree with a lot you're saying. Some people we're not going to reach in MAGA. There are some people that are misogynistic, some people that are racist. However, there's a lot of
Probably
there's a lot
most of MAGA we won't reach.
Yeah.
Probably most. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a lot of voters on the margins that voted for Trump that didn't care about character. There's a lot of these people that are voting that don't care about character. I made the mistake of thinking that people will finally realize Trump's a jackass. I've done it 3 elections now, and I need to stop thinking that people care about character when it comes to Donald Trump. They're telling us that they don't. So we have to listen, and he might be done after a second term, but because this has worked, his messaging is not going to be done from the conservative party, right? So now we got to adjust. So I'm with you. We got to reach people on the margins. We have to make messages simpler for the people on the margins. And we have to talk about, we gave them numbers. They don't always believe that. Trump was great at making it simple. I'm going to reduce your inflation. I'm going to make it 0. I'm going to reduce your egg prices. I'm going to reduce your milk prices. They go for that. It's simple to them. To them, gas prices being low for Latinos, it outweighs the risk of them being deported, I guess. I don't know, but we got to change the approach. I'm with you. I agree. Some MAGA are scumbags, some aren't. And so we got to, if we want to win elections, we got to reach those people on the margins. But I just want to say, like, everybody embrace your emotions, take however long it takes. And then we got to regroup, because the fight's not going to be over. Like, unless we change our approach, you're right. We have to change our approach, because we can't win elections. Kamala Harris was probably the most qualified woman for the job that there could be, and she still lost. Women didn't vote for her. Do you know what I'm saying? I agree. No, it's not okay. Somebody talking about AB. No, it's not okay. But that's not an issue that was on. AB is not okay. It's not an issue that was on the ballot, obviously, for a lot of women. So we just got to have a hard, reflection and regroup. And I don't know what you think about what I'm saying. If you agree, I use some lives as a therapy session to get feelings out. And
I've got to be that guy.
No, it's okay. But you can respond, Jay, if you want to. But
well, let's have me. I'll come on your show. Just DM me. Let's figure out a time to come on. Let's have a longer form discussion about this.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
Sounds good, bud. See you.
Yep.
Baron, what's up?
Hey,
you doing all right, bro?
I'm trying. Hey, I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
It's just like Tuesday night. I was just like, this is the night democracy died, I guess. But we just got to keep on fighting and see what happens. Got to keep going. Keep going. And I'm feeling for like my fellow brothers and sisters in arms, the veterans that are going to lose their benefits. Just like me. I'm a disabled veteran. I'm going to lose a lot of my stuff.
Well, maybe, right? Like that's the fight. It's a different fight now. It's not a fight for votes. It's a fight for influence. And look, there's a lot of Republicans out there that don't want to see your benefits cut. There's a lot of Republicans out there that don't want to see, the Project 2025 type shit that ends democracy. I think probably most of them. And so it's our job, like it's their job and it's our job to figure out a way to make sure that if that stuff comes up, that the American people stand for it, and they don't. It's not about party loyalty. It's about, are we going to take care of our veterans or not? And I hopefully Republicans are with us on that.
I hope so too. And it just goes to like that saying that goes, the government that people vote for is the government they deserve.
Yeah.
And and another thing. I feel you, brother. Right now, I'm feeling like a freaking 49ers fan after losing another freaking Super Bowl. That's what I'm feeling like.
You're going to talk like that with that Cowboys hat on?
Hey, you got to. But, 2 in a row.
All right, brother. We're out of time.
2 in a row. But, hey,
see you
keep doing a good job, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Hey.
I will be super quick because I know you've got lots of people to see. the last 2 days where I wasn't sure where you were or if you were coming back were the hardest days I've had in a long time. And I've got mental health issues, so know that they were tough. And the relief I felt when I saw you guys come back today, you and Jen, was just a huge weight off my shoulders. I felt like I could face the whole political realm again, and I didn't have to crawl into a hole because I knew that you guys are still here and we're going to keep fighting. So that just made me be able to move forward. So
I appreciate that. Yeah. I a lot of people asked. I have to
And
sit with my
I'm
feelings
not,
because my first
I
reaction's
don't,
bad. So I appreciate
yeah,
you waiting for me. Sorry about that.
no. I don't want to make you feel bad for taking those days. I fully understand you needed them, and I appreciate the fact that you did that.
Thank you.
But I just am glad you got your days and you did your thing and you're back and we're going to keep going. So
Well, it's good to be back. I'm glad to be back.
all
We're
right.
not done. All right.
See ya.
Thank you. What's up, Snark Attack?
Hey guys, how's it
Hey.
going?
Good. How are you?
So I've been entertaining myself by thinking about this messaging idea and coming up with some catchphrases because, like, you know, the other side loves a good catchphrase, drill baby drill, etc. So I feel like we need to come up with some. So I'd encourage people to submit some ideas, and here's some of mine. How about 400K and below, your taxes will slow, right?
Beautiful.
Big
I like
message,
that.
very
Yeah.
short. How about this one? Price gouging is shady. No more after this, lady. Right? That would have worked, I think.
That was good.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, how about this one? You don't have to be woke, but join us if you don't want to be broke. Yeah, maybe that one
Ooh,
workshop.
that one
Maybe
would have been
workshop
hard.
it.
We
I
would
don't know.
workshop
Yeah,
that one. Yeah.
workshop it. Okay. How about this? Take medication. We'll help you pay for that and your operation.
Ooh, I like
See, I'm
that.
telling you, a good rhyme. So, and
I
then
like
maybe one
that.
just about like, hey, we got the right. So vote for us. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
So
I
yeah,
think
let's.
it's a real thing. Like that type of messaging works. I gotta be. I fucking hate that type of messaging because it's not. But it's because it's not for me.
I know.
That's why.
I know.
And I need to swallow my pride and say like, no, not everything's for me. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't love it either, but we got to try some, and it's
I'm
funny.
with
So
you. All right. Well,
send
I
me your
like that.
ideas, people.
There you go. Everybody
All
send
right,
Snark
bye.
Attack your ideas. Give us the best ones next week. See it. Sorry, is it Marisha? Is that how you say that?
Yes, that's
Okay.
perfect.
Perfect. Hey, welcome.
Thank you. I just want to say first that I really appreciate being a part of your community. I'm so happy I found you. None of us are happy right now. I just do want to say thank you for having me up and having a voice. But I wanted to kind of air out a little grievance of mine. I'm not sure if it came up just yet, but I noticed a lot with the campaign. And I don't know if you would agree that there was a lot of reaching to try to convert the MAGA supporters rather than motivating, I guess, her already base from Joe Biden. I feel like if those people would have came out, we would have had a better shot than trying to convert the MAGA base, which we weren't going to get anyway, it looks like.
I think you're probably right. I don't think we'll know until the next election if we do that. But certainly pandering to the Republicans who didn't want to vote for Trump wasn't the right strategy. That was wrong. It didn't work. So I think you're probably right. And I think that I think that the messaging going into 2022 should be to talk about the policies on our side that most people agree with. We'll see if we take that approach. And I think that some of that populist messaging that Trump did, we should do something similar to that. I think the messaging needs to be a little more inclusive. And I mean inclusive by like things that you can't really divide, like universal health care. Like it helps everybody, right? Or public education helps everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm not going to keep you too long. Thank you for having me up.
Thank you. Did I say 2022? I meant 2026. Sorry. My dates are all fucked up today. All right, this is Beth. Hey,
It's
Beth.
Beth.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
You did great. I want you to know that because you know what? We were dealing with Trump with his one-liners going on and on with his big voice, with his big face. And then we had Biden for so long that was like, mumbles Biden. I love Biden to death. Don't get me wrong. But we didn't really have that strong voice. And then we had a whole switch. I mean, we had a 100-day campaign with Kamala.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. He's been doing rallies for 9 years with the same rhetoric going on and on and on. So just keep that in mind. I do like your idea of doing a different approach because we know MAGA loves charts. And I think charts, I know, but it's true. Like, if they see a chart, they believe it.
That accent comes out strong when you say chat. I like that.
I thought you were
Everybody
laughing at what I
just
said
found out
about
you
my
were from
voice.
Boston just right then. Everybody's like, oh shit, Boston.
Yes. I'm in New England where we're all blue and smart.
That's
we
right.
don't vote red.
Wicked smart.
Just kidding. Wicked smart.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say the Project 2025, like that Matt Walsh guy, said, he posted that thing saying, "Oh, now's a good time to tell you Project 2025 is real." Well, a part of that is about contraception, banning contraception. So everyone stock up on contraception. The pills and patches expire 1 to 5 years. Condoms can be up to 7 years. If they don't have the spermicide in them, and the IUD, Mirena, you can get almost up to 7 years on that. So stock up, everybody, for your loved ones and everything. Even if you don't get your period anymore, fire.
Perfect. We're running out of time. Before you go, people requested to hear you say "park the car in the garage." It's just the request from the.
Oh, not Harvard Yard.
Yeah.
Park the car in the garage. Park the car in the garage. Park the car in Harvard Yard. That's what they want. I can say it like you. Park the car in Harvard Yard. See?
There you go. Your way's better. Your way's better. Thanks, Beth.
All right, that's all I got for you guys. You're awesome. Bye.
We'll see you. Is that Littlefoot? Oh, that's you, Jen. I didn't even notice. Whoops. Is that
Hi.
Littlefoot?
It's Ducky.
Ducky. Sorry,
It's
I forget
Ducky.
his name. Thank you. Sorry.
Oh, that's too bad. So anyway, I just wanted to say, first of all, my biggest concern is the 60% tariff that's being suggested, and it is not too late to start your own little garden in your house. So stock up on seeds. You don't even need to stock up. You can get seeds from the vegetables you buy at the store. And my second thing I wanted to say that I've heard from some Black creators is white women, please don't go into Black spaces and try to tell them that you voted for Kamala and you're a safe person. They don't need to hear that right now. Give them space, give them time. If there's anyone in the Discord who is interested in learning more about your internal racism and how systemic racism is still affecting the United States today, we started a book club in Jay's server. So it's under book club, it's anti-racism. We're starting with a really good book specifically for white women. Hope to see you guys there. And that's all I had to say.
Thank you. I look forward to that. What was that? What was the book you're reading again? I saw you talking on Discord. I don't remember the title of the book.
It's something, I don't remember, White Women Tears, I think, something like that. I don't know.
Okay,
It's really good.
cool.
I've started reading it already. So,
Okay. I'll
Yep.
read it too.
awesome. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Jen. Now, Delta Dawn.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So I just, real quickly, I guess, I just have my opinions on some of the things that went poorly. And then some of the reactions that have been online. All I could keep thinking of is, do you remember the movie League of Their Own? Tom Hanks in it says there's no crying in baseball.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been saying that this last few days. I remember when Hillary lost, I was devastated. I took 2 days off work this time just in case. But this time I'm just like, okay, I've been here, I've done this. And it kind of is irking me a little bit to see how many people disappeared. And I get people need space and stuff, but then it seemed to me that people either disappeared from this specific, from TikTok, or I've seen people on here just completely melting down. Jeff, the other night, I watched him. I disbelieved.
I heard it was tough.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Then this morning, another creator, who I'm not going to say their name, that I have watched, and I thought while I was watching this particular person, they was really harsh on some of the people that would call it. And that was one of the things I liked about you, is that even when you Jeff was co-hosting with you, there was a lot of times I'd hear you say, like, give him a chance to talk, let him talk. And this particular one that I saw this morning literally blocked me in their chats because I questioned something that the person said. The mods blocked me. It's like, wow. So now we're going to, like, the whole eating your own. This is what we're going to do. And I think that's a bad idea. I'm 47 years old. It doesn't always go the way we want it to. I've been disappointed many, many times in my life. I'm a lifelong Democrat. My mother was, a Kennedy Democrat, and I was raised in upstate New York surrounded by red. But I've held my own. Back in the day, I used to be very outspoken when I was younger about gay rights and whatnot. I had my car keyed so many times, had religious pamphlets put on my car because of bumper stickers, was going to protests, was going to Albany. It wasn't easy. I was targeted many times myself for what I stood up for. Yeah. It's not an easy thing, and people need to fortify right now, is my opinion, and also not eat our own. And we also really
I've got it. We've hit our. Just if you want to get towards the end.
Yeah, I just wanted to say we need to not eat our own, and we also need to realize that the other side, whether we like it or not, whether we think they are or not, people do not like being told they're this, they're that you're a misogynist, because they don't believe they are. And whether we believe they are or not, like you said, there's varying degrees. You have to understand who are the ones that are the schmatzis, who are the ones that are like the real chauvinists, who are the ones that maybe they think what they're doing is actually respectful, but they're not seeing the nuances of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we have to listen to them.
I've got to cut you off. We've got a time limit. So
we'll talk again. I appreciate it. I hear all that. I appreciate it. We're just running. Jen's helped me because I'm running out of time.
You're good. You're good. I'm just, Have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much. Namasi? Is that Namasi? Oh, you put it in the parentheses. Namasi. There we go.
I did. No one can get it right. It's Namasi. Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to come up and talk about the messaging. I think that was our biggest problem. I think Democrats have had an issue with messaging for quite some time. And I think our biggest problem is that we're having intellectual conversations with people that don't quite have the intellect to understand the stats and all the data and everything that we keep throwing at them. And I mean, there's a reason why they are kind of drawn to somebody that speaks at a 5th grade level, because I think the average it's pretty bad, but I think the average American are kind of on the same level, especially when it comes to politics. They're at the same level. They don't understand the nuance of it. So I think what we need to do is we just need to speak to people as people, not as, even though they're horrible people sometimes, we still just need to talk to them as people, because they still, as bad as they are, they still care about their family. They care about their children, how they're going to put food on the table. They worry about the same things that we worry about.
Yeah.
And we need to get to the humanity of it. We gotta try to draw that humanity out in them, because some of them have it, not all of them. Those people are lost, and we know it. Those are the hardcore Trump supporters. We're never going to get to them. But the rest of them, there's humanity hidden in there somewhere. We got to try to pull that out, and we got to talk to them on their level and not insult them or anything or make them feel dumb. Because I know that when you make someone feel dumb, they shut down. They're not going to listen anymore. Yeah. So we got to dumb it down to their own level. As hard as it's going to be for us that are, knowledgeable on the topics, we're going to have to try.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. That's exactly what we got to do. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, I got to remind everybody, I've got the clock. If you guys can try to be cognizant of the time so that we can make sure we can get to everybody. Jay's got a hard stop coming up. So if we could do that, that would be great. DTH.
Yes, I'm going to keep it short. I just want to say that I'm still struggling with actually how to feel. Still very angry that a lot of people, that it seems like we're losing humanity and morals and values. So I just want to talk to the people that's really they're still in the struggle to really take the time to go through the feelings. I'm still not at a point where I want to reach out my hand to other people because I still can't understand how people made the decision. I know it was theirs, it's their right, but I'm just struggling with raising up two boys and showing them this is the world that we like that we actually have to live in. But so I want to encourage the other people. I mean, I know I'll get there to the point, but take the time to go through the feelings, whatever they may be. And we'll worry about the other people on the other side when we've sorted ourselves out. That's all I have to say.
I agree. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, people heal at their own pace. That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I also want to let other people know if you've been removed from the box, we've hit our time limit. So who's in the request that we've got is what we've got for the rest of the day.
What's up, John? John?
You're muted, John. John?
Hey guys, sorry about that. I'm a boomer like Jay. Can you guys hear me okay?
Catching strays. Yeah, we got you. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been hurting this week as everyone else has, and I basically just called in today for some moral support. I had a long text chain with my sister today, and I established boundaries and said, hey, you guys voted for this man, and I don't know what to say, man. And I think about how you say you put up boundaries with your family and don't speak to them. And I think my family's kind of like realizing that's where I'm at. And so I was really hoping to kind of hear how you do that. Like, how do you keep that determination, I guess, or that will?
I don't want to keep not talking to my family, and it's not. The thing is like us not talking doesn't really have to do with how we feel about each other. It's that consistently our conversations aren't on the same page, and it really is just about like respecting boundaries. That's for me. That's what it is, and just like I hope that changes. I would just say to try and keep your heart open. Like people change. I changed. We all know somebody who's changed. And especially when it's family, like just leave the door open. But yeah, I don't think it's anybody's responsibility to go and mend all those relationships. But if you have an opportunity to mend one, I think usually the prudent thing to do is do it, as long as it's healthy.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys. Have a great one.
See you. Our Swedish friend.
Hello.
Hey.
This was not the conversation I wanted to have today. I wanted to congratulate you today. But yeah, and there's something you've been talking about, giving grace and everything. I do believe that who you vote for reflect your values. So voting for a fascist means you're a fascist. It's hard to find room for that, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the hard part is that I agree. Like, just in my mind, if I voted for a fascist, I would be a fascist. I don't think most Republicans know what fascism is. I don't think they would be able to recognize what fascism is. And so, like, that's where I say, like, hold that space. If there's people that voted for a fascist and they know what a fascist is, yeah, I've got an issue with that. But there's a lot of people that didn't vote. They didn't know they voted for a fascist. They legitimately have no idea. And we can talk all the sense
But
in
they
the world.
voted for a rapist and a fraudster and...
But they don't think that.
Yeah, but they... Yeah.
And look, I don't think everybody has to take the same approach as I do. Like, this is my job. And I want to influence elections. So I have to deal with a little bit different stuff than everybody else does. For if this was detrimental to my mental health, I wouldn't be doing it. And so there are people, there are plenty of folks out there who have lived different lives, who have seen different things, who have more experience with being abused or in dealing as being a minority in a white supremacist world, and their views and their feelings and their life experience is different than mine. I've seen a lot of people say like, and it happened in our call yesterday, like this is on white folks. You got to take care of the other white folks. Fine, I'll be that messenger. I'll message to white folks. I'm fine with that. And if people don't want to forgive, fine. If they don't want to forget, fine. But that's my job. So that's what I kind of have to do. And I don't expect everybody to be on board with me or agree with me or support what I'm doing, because I respect that everybody else has their own feelings. But for me, with my life, with what I feel, like I'm not ready to quit yet. So I'm going to try things that I haven't tried before.
Hey, so if you've been removed from the box, don't request again. We've hit our max. The 6 people that were in there, we're at our limit. So
thank you. Hey, Emily.
Hey, Jay.
Hey.
How's it going? I
So
thought I'd
good.
be able to turn my camera on and have a little combo with you, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for the combo yesterday on Discord. It kind of made me like step back and take a minute to like look at how I show up on my Instagram and my social media, and just like I have ADHD also, and so that sense of justice is like very strong in me also. And so showing how awful Donald Trump was my goal, and that obviously doesn't work. And I think we did a bad job of like, or at least for me, for sure, did a bad job of like engaging the people that I know that aren't voting. Like my stepsister wasn't voting. And so it's like, we need to do a better job of also telling those people why it's so important to get out and vote too. So
Yeah, that's got to be some of the outreach, is finding out why people didn't vote and reach out to them as well. It's not, we can't say that like Kamala Harris ran a campaign and targeted Republicans and that it didn't work and then be like, we're going to target Republicans.
Right,
Like,
right, exactly.
we have to include more people, including especially people who didn't vote.
Well, and there's, 30 million people that are registered that didn't come out. So obviously that,
And those people we have to go meet. They're not showing up. They're not going to show up and debate me. They're not going to show up to these lives. We have to go meet those people where they are. So that probably won't be my role, but all of us can do that in our own lives, in a small level.
Okay, well, see you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Bye,
Emily.
Jen.
We'll see
Thanks,
ya.
Jen. Bye, Jen.
Hey, Cam.
I'll go last if that's okay. You want to
Sure.
let them go?
Sure. Jer.
You're muted, Jer. Jer. Mute button at the bottom. Looks like a microphone.
Hello?
There we go.
There we are.
Sorry. I tried to talk to you guys a while back, and it's something to do with my earpiece. Jay, I want to thank you so much. I'm actually from Salt Lake City, Utah. I was raised with your background, not Republican. One question I wanted to ask you, and it's just give people a thought. When they're talking about messaging, I had a really good conversation with Adam Prey last night, and we were talking about messaging and he was talking about the Democrats need to go far left. My question I want to know is what your thoughts are, and anybody else, is I have always asked people what it is that they want for the country. You know, we're elected these representatives to represent us in America. And I always ask that question. And so I almost feel like that's the reason why some people don't show up, is because they don't feel like they're getting that message. They're like, my voice doesn't matter. The other thing I would say too, and I'll leave it at that, is I remember when I first voted was with Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, we know what his background is, but as a president, great president for what it was.
Sure.
But I remember MTV being the one that was like a big catalyst to get young people out to vote. What are your thoughts as far as, in this modern day now, like with TikTok or whatever else? Because it's like speaking with my niece, she just voted this year, and she was looking at RFK, and I had to educate her. Thank you for your education. And she was like, no, I ain't doing that. She's a victim of that. I mean, I think you know what I'm talking about. So what is your thought? And I'll leave it at that.
My thought is a lot of the reason that we don't get what we want is because we're not an engaged electorate. We show up every 4 years, we vote for president. If you look at the vote totals from president and then you look at the senator received less vote. And then if you look further down ballot, like those votes disappear. Most people are not engaged. And for as far as getting things done that we want done, like we have to inform our own electorate. We have a real problem in this country on our side too. And let's talk specifically about Democrats. We have a problem with Democrats and who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and who go out and they're the messenger, and they have no ability to communicate the argument. They're just Democrats because they're Democrats, just like there's some MAGA that are just MAGA, and they want their voice to be heard, and they don't understand what they're saying. And oftentimes, too many times, those are our messengers. And sometimes we see a messenger from our side and we don't correct them because they're on our side. And that fucks things up. I think if I look back at the last couple of years, there's a lot of times maybe we should have said, that's not correct. Let's not let that fly. And so holding ourselves accountable to when we debate and when we communicate and message, if somebody on our side is saying something that's incorrect, correct that just like we would MAGA. Who was next, Jen? Is it Dr. Dig?
Yeah.
Dr. Dig, welcome.
Hi, Jay.
Hey.
You sweet little blueberry muffin of a man. I have like a little bit different perspective.
Yeah.
I gotta talk fast. I got a big conference. So I'm a doctor. I'm a computational oncologist, and I'm at like our biggest meeting in the world right now. And it makes me angry that as soon as the election happened, all of the talks now have disclosures that their opinions are not part of, that do not represent the government. We are worried about trying to convince a dog-eating maniac to keep our jobs, to keep funding us, and that's fucking stupid. I'm sorry, it's fucking stupid. We spend our whole lives working and learning and training to help people and keep people alive. And now we're going to be under a government that doesn't believe in science and doesn't believe in what we do and thinks that we're idiots and is going to take all of our money away. And that's fucking dumb. So those people can get fucked. The people that vote for him can get fucked. I don't care. They can get in the dog-eating barbecue line and just go eat some concrete. I'm over it. I'm done. But I got to go back to my job because that's.
Oh, we lost you. Yeah, look, I don't know if I agree with all that. But I do understand, especially if you're in sciences, it's got to be even more so impactful if you're in the sciences in medicine, and now you're looking at your future like, what the fuck? This guy's the guy in charge doesn't even believe in science. Yannette.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi. I don't even know what to say. 2 minutes is definitely not enough.
Sorry.
But I do appreciate the work you do. If anything, I feel like I need to leave my echo chamber. I have never been so sure of something my whole life. I was like, he is gonna win. There's no way America is gonna select this man again because of all the research I did, even the stuff you said. I still researched it. I never take anything for somebody's word.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I underestimated how much people would vote on perhaps their wallet, their economy.
Or even the perception of their wallet, I'd say. It's more the perception that it would fix their wallet. Yeah.
Yeah, I never really, because I'm not living I'm not living like that. I don't work, but luckily I'm fine. And so, but that's my reality. That's not their reality. And I think that's what I underestimated. I definitely gave me all the day after the election to just sit there and do my crying. And now it's time to keep going, keep walking and see what I can do. Besides getting informed, do I inform more people? Now it's time for me to take a little more action, I think. And I just really appreciate what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. We all got to look. Where's the action we can take, and then take what we can take.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's live it up. What is this? Let's live it up.
I came up with it like last minute. First off, just want to thank you, RTP, and all creators for what you guys do on pushing, information and the truth. Unlike Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, and everyone who helped the right pass misinformation, and I think that's going to be one of our ways moving forward to support you guys, to now donate to you guys even more, because you guys are going to be our voices on our fight the next couple of years. And that's where I see where you and other creators need to also get together and maybe even come up with some type of platform like Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens have, because they have invested heavily in misinformation for the past couple of years. And I believe that's how they got the young vote.
Yeah.
Everyone started listening to them, and they heard them, and they have a higher platform than most of us do. And I created this account to combat misinformation as well. I'm part of the LGBT group community, and I have friends too that voted for Trump. They're part of the LGBT community, but they fell into the trap, the Candace Owens trap, the Charlie Kirk trap. My family members fell into the Candace Owens trap, the Charlie Kirk trap. And, Trump also invested heavily in the Hispanic community, where he invested in Telemundo and
we lost you.
getting a call.
We gotta wrap it up.
Sorry,
So,
my parents, who are long-term Democratic,
hey,
they
wait,
told me they were voting for
hey.
Trump because of Univision.
let's.
And sorry.
Hey, we gotta wrap it up. We have a
Sorry,
time
I just wanted to say,
You're good.
you guys are going to be the future. So thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I agree with that. We've got to figure out a way to come together, be a little more unified. I appreciate that. This is Lucky Luciano.
Hey Jay, man, I just wanted to say I appreciate your content. I was a red-pilled kid growing up. I'm a Gen Zer. I'm 24. And coming across your guys' lives and coming across people like Parker and Dean's lives really kind of helped shape my perspective on a lot of things. And it made me go out and do more research and figure a lot of that kind of stuff out. So the last couple of days, it's been really, really tough because the last, I want to say, year and a half, I've been watching you guys like constantly and, going and doing tons of research and trying to speak about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a little bit of a shell shock, obviously. I feel like, we lost and it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. But to your point, like, I do have a lot of hope. And I feel like I need to be incredibly active. I'm in Ohio. I'm in a red state, and it starts, I don't want to see people my age fall into that trap that Let's was just talking about. And it's really tough to see. So, I'm going to continue to educate myself, and I want to be a part of these next years of building something that is going to last and help with the messaging any way that I can, and get that out to people my age and figure out the right kind of balance that it's going to take to shift the dynamics so that people can feel safe again. And that's really the biggest point is I don't want people to feel unsafe.
Well, thank you for the kind words, and look, I applaud you and whatever we can do to help you. But you're right, we just got to activate, and I think that good for you for coming up with that, coming to that conclusion. It's great. John Stone.
Hey Jay,
Hey.
I just want to come up to say, hey, thanks for everything you've done.
You bet, man.
And
I loved
I've never been able to ask for this before, but can we get a WJ in the chat?
WJ.
WJ in the chat. Come on.
Thanks, John Stone. I appreciate it.
And hey, maybe I missed this. Maybe you know more than me. Where were the celebrations for Trump's win?
I don't know. I turned once Pennsylvania was called, I turned off my TV and phone, and I didn't watch Trump's speech. I didn't watch Kamala's speech. I haven't watched any of the reaction because I didn't want my reaction to be tainted by like any emotions that I was feeling by other people's reactions. So I don't know, to be honest. I don't know how people celebrated. No idea.
I don't think they did. And the reason I brought that up is if Kamala had won, we'd still all be drunk and happy. None of them seem happy. None of them are celebrating. And you can stop sending me the feet pics now. Bye, guys.
Never. They're coming. Jacob.
Yes.
What's up, dude?
Hey, Jay. I just wanted to, again, as everyone said, thank you for all you do. Really inspiring and really good job. But I just wanted to offer a little glimpse of hope, at least politically, through our country. People like Gavin Newsom going through the courts and make sure he's protecting his people and doing everything that he can.
Yeah.
And then the state I live in, Illinois, our governor J.B. Pritzker, what do you say? If you come from my people, you have to go through me.
Yeah.
So I just there's glimmers of hope out there. I know it's not feeling like it right now, but I just wanted to offer that aspect of there is good out there, and keep your heads up because we'll get through it together.
Yep. Amen. I love that. Thanks,
Amen. Brother. All right, Jen, kick me.
All right, Cam.
Oh man, so I think part of the problem, it definitely feels like we're talking to people. They can see our mouths moving, but they can't hear us because we can't figure out how to unmute ourselves because we're
fucking
don't realize it. So it definitely feels like that at times.
That's what it feels like.
Which is weird because they're the boomers, but I don't know, sometimes we feel like we have boomers on our side.
Yeah, we got to get rid of those. Yeah,
they're bad.
Yeah,
but what's the last guy? He brought up something I was going to bring up about the Newsom. I'm assuming you'd heard about that. He's
calling a special session.
Yeah, so he's trying to because I've been kind of fighting our own enemy within here in California. It's a very red enemy that we've been fighting for a long time, and it's been bad. They wear their gold helmets and it's terrible. It's a very bad enemy within that's very red. And it doesn't matter what kind of what kind of reinforcements they get. They're still terrible. So, but I just wanted to kind of throw in one last little.
Yeah,
not one last. I'll probably. He might still see me around. So.
Son of a bitch.
Anyways, appreciate it. Yeah, well, the other night was just lovely. Me and a couple other people here in the Discord, we were just kind of commentating on what was going on with our friend Jeff. That was.
Jeez. I'm glad I didn't see it.
Oh, he kept playing the same, he kept going around in a circle, like, oh, this is gonna be the last song for the night, and then he went through 5 hours of saying all right, I'm just trying to find one last song to listen to for the night to go to bed. And he would play like a quarter of a song, then go, no, that's not it, because I promise this next one's our last one, and we're gonna go to bed. For 5 hours straight, and he kept going around to the same songs too.
As much as I want to keep talking about this particular topic,
it was bad.
It's time's up. Bye, Cam.
Absolutely.
See you, Cam. Hey guys, sorry for everybody that's been trying to get in the box. We're just out of time. I'll be back probably around 4 today. So if you guys want to talk, we can come back up a little bit later today. We got date night, but I'm solo from 4 till let's say 9 or so. We'll just see how it goes. But I appreciate. I wanted to say this. I appreciate those who are on board with the new direction that we're headed, and I appreciate those who aren't just as much. And I'm just like, if this gets uncomfortable for you, leave. And if you want to come back, you're always welcome. I don't think this is always going to be a place where everybody always wants to be here, but I just think that there's a way to message our message, and I do believe in our message. We just have to do it better. So we're going to try some new things. But I appreciate you guys' patience with that. I'm not trying to invalidate anybody's feelings. Everybody's welcome to have their feelings. But I will say that going forward, I would like to see a little bit more discussion about real topics. So if we're having discussions about real topics and it's frustrating you, I would let's not break it up. Let's see if this works. And if you need to leave for a little bit, leave. If not, come back. But we're not done. Jen, do you have anything to add before we go?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. This is your last. If you wanted to gift Jen today, this is your last chance before she goes. So gift Jen while she's talking, and go ahead, Jen.
I just want to clarify for Mountain Time because he's in Arizona, so he's not on Pacific Time anymore.
That's right.
And then we have, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube at RTP Talks, that would be great. If you want to join the Discord, you can message any mod and we can get you an invite. And any other messages? If you want to have your last chance for the earlier live to make Jay blush, here's your chance to do that.
I need to read some. So Peyton says, as a white person, when BIPOC women are speaking on how they feel, let's not tone police them. Love you, but bad take. I'm not tone policing anyone. Just to be clear, I think anybody's allowed to say whatever they want. And they're allowed to have whatever feelings they want. But if we're talking about messaging to other people, then I don't think that anybody is exempt from feedback on messaging. If you're telling me how you feel, all of that's valid. I'm never going to tell somebody how to feel. But if we're talking about not about messaging, I think we need to have real discussions about messaging. So I don't know if that's in response to what you were saying, Peyton, or not. But Brittany said, loving the softer approach, but just remember, you don't have to be soft for me. Double daddy, sister wife, number 9. Thank you, Brittany. I appreciate that. Ryan says we need to reach out to people further left and stop trying to court Republicans, or create a message that actually has more appeal. I think it's possible to do both. I don't know if it's likely, but you can reach Republicans with left-leaning messaging. Amber says just want to soak and cuddle. That's how it starts, Amber. All right, guys. I'll see you back here in 2.5 hours. Is that 2.5 hours? Maybe 3 hours. We'll see how it goes. Until then, if you want to watch the replay of today's episode, it's on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, or here on TikTok. If you'd like an invitation to the Discord, shoot me or Jen a message. And other than that, if you want to look at our merch, that's in the link tree. Other than that, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the feedback. I'm going to try and just be a more open book. So if you're frustrated with something that I said, please reach out. If I don't get to you, you can come up on lives. Let's talk about it. I don't want to invalidate anybody's feelings, but